what it is.
You just
You want
tripped up.
you want some help, Chemo? The Kármán line is where you can no longer use lift to raise objects. You have to use orbital mechanics.
Exactly.
to,
That's
to
because above the Kármán line there is no gas, no
Wrong.
atmosphere.
Nothing to do with.
It's just. It's
What
just
do you
an
mean that's
arbitrary
wrong?
line.
Explain yourself that it's wrong.
It's just an arbitrary line. They've just made an
The
arbitrary line.
the atmosphere still carries on past the Kármán line.
The
Where's this data
atmosphere.
saying that there's no
Hold on,
atmosphere
hold
there?
on. Let
Come
me
on,
get
this
that
is
right.
the point.
Let me get that right. The atmosphere carries on past the Kármán line. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
How
Yeah, gradually.
How
Gradually.
much?
You didn't put the word gradually in.
So the Kármán line is not space, not in space.
It's
Correct.
an arbitrary line that they use when.
Hold on, hold on. I'm asking Farmer's Boy, Kosher. Hold on, Kosher. Farmer's Boy made the claim about
Kármán line,
the Kármán line here.
Yes, Chemo. If you stop fucking talking, then I'll explain.
Okay, that's
The
what I'm waiting.
Kármán
That's why I'm
line-
saying, Kosher, hold on.
Can
Go
you
on, then.
stop fucking talking?
Go on then.
Thank you. The Kármán line is the point in the atmosphere where there is insufficient air and insufficient density of air to give you aerodynamic lift. That's all. There is still atmosphere above it. It's just not thick enough for the control surfaces of an aircraft to provide lift and give you control. Above that point, you need to start using rockets.
Right.
But there's still atmosphere. The ISS is still in Earth's atmosphere. There's just not much of it.
The
That's
ISS
whole
is above the
point.
Kármán line.
Of course it is.
So how
Kimo.
high is? How high
Kimo,
is
do you know what the aurora is?
the
Northern Light.
aura? The aura
Do you hear
borealis.
about it?
The aura borealis.
What?
Whatever.
The aura borealis.
The
No,
Kármán line.
Well, there's two of them.
No,
It's
the
just
the aura
recognised to be
borealis
100
he's talking about.
Chemo.
Yes. Do you know what it is?
The aura borealis. Yes, it's light.
Yes. Do you know what it is?
Doesn't
How
course.
high? How high is it?
Of course
How
I know
high
what
is
It's
it,
called
Kim?
the Northern Lights.
Yes. How high is it?
How high are the Northern Lights?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
that's easy
Give
to
him
know.
time to Google it.
Yes, of course, anyone can know that.
Yes.
And,
So how high is it?
Yes, the height is easy to figure out if that's something you know. But
Okay.
why are you derailing? Why is that important?
No, I'm not derailing because the aurora,
Mm-hmm.
starting at 90 kilometers and extend to 1,000.
Mm-hmm. Well,
And that's gas, Chemo.
well, we don't know
Yes.
that for sure. Evidence.
That's relevant.
Yes, the ISS is passing through it. What are you talking about?
Well, it says here the green lights appear 150 miles up. Now, obviously, this is from your science, where it's
Oops.
yes, but it's part of your heliocentric model, which is false.
Yeah, what do you mean
nothing
heliocentric
to do
model?
with
That's where they are.
Yeah, but that fits in with the model.
I don't care about models. I care where the light come from.
Well,
And
who
it's
measured
150
Who
miles
measured
above.
All right, who measured it?
Then there's gas there,
Who
Chemo,
measured- who-
above your Kármán line.
Who measured it?
Who measured that there was no gas above the Kármán
Aha,
line?
Chaiki, you can't say who measured it, can
This is
you?
the question I've been trying to get you to answer for about 10 minutes.
Hold on a second,
Where
Josh. You're
have you got these
derailing now again.
measurements saying-
Derailing. We're
where
talking
have
about
you
the
got these
height of the
measurements saying there
borealis.
is no gas? Where is these measurements
What is
saying
wrong
that
with
no
you?
gas above
Goodness
the
sakes.
Kármán line? And by the way, there's
Can't
no
have a
A at
simple
the beginning of
conversation around here these
borealis.
days. Now look, Chaiki, you said that a borealis,
So
150
it's
miles up.
borealis. There's no A in
Just
front
because
of it.
they say the borealis is that height, how do you know it? You trust them?
Yes.
Yes, so it's
What do you mean
faith.
you trust them?
Exactly, it's faith.
There are images, there's measurements, I don't know where they are.
It's faith.
Can you look it up?
It's
Ah,
fake.
it's fake.
It's a belief, Chaiki. You have no evidence. You've never
People see it with their eyes. Kimo,
It's
come on. You can see it, I think.
see where your derailing has got you, right?
It's
That's the
fake.
point. Try to stick on topic about space.
I'm on topic. You said there's no gas there. We can see it.
Guys, let's stick on topic and let's look at Chemo's data that there is no atmosphere above the Kármán line. I'm sure he wouldn't have made this claim unless he's got measurements that he has validated and verified.
This is
So
true.
why don't we hold him to that point,
Mhm.
and then we can carry on from there.
Well, on a flat Earth, I don't think we have a Kármán line. I think we have a firmament. Yes.
Well, I'm not going with your claim, Chemo. Your claim was there is no atmosphere above the Kármán line.
Because we don't have a real Kármán line in reality, dude. What we have is a arbitrary made-up line by man who says, well, this is what I want to say is the Kármán line. But in reality, okay, we have a firmament.
Well, I'm going with Farmer's Boy description of the Kármán line, which is generally it's the point at which aircrafts can no longer generate enough lift.
Yeah, that's the highest you can go. You
So
can't go above that line.
That's a plane, yeah, and we can get above that line using other methods like rockets, which
Demonstrate
don't
it
rely
right
on
now.
aerodynamic lift.
Prove it right now.
They just rely on thrust.
Go on then, let's have
And
a
in
look.
fact, if you had a jet powerful enough, you could use the thrust of that jet. It just wouldn't have enough atmosphere to be able to power the jet, which is why they don't go above that line.
Okay, can you
So
prove
again,
that?
Chemo,
No, you can't
where
prove that.
have
You
you
should have
got
had
this
poetry.
wild and reckless claim that you've made that there is no atmosphere above this Kármán line?
You haven't demonstrated that anything can go above the Kármán line.
Yes,
Well,
we
I'm nothing to do with my claims. I'm just asking you to substantiate your claim that there is no atmosphere above the Kármán line. Can you do it?
Well, what is the Kármán line? A made-up line by man.
No, it's not. It's a point that's been described to you. So again, you made the claim that there is no atmosphere above the Kármán line. Please show your evidence.
Kármán line to have atmosphere. I'm talking about your
Yes,
model.
the Kármán line is the limit where we can no longer generate enough lift from an aircraft to take it above that point.
Why do you think that is?
So that's because the atmosphere is quite thin. Now, what I'm asking for
Aha,
is you
there
need to
you
validate
go.
your claim
Why?
that there is no atmosphere above this Kármán line.
Above
Please
the
do so.
Kármán line is a vacuum of space.
No.
Yes.
No, you're
That's
completely
what our
wrong.
model
You have,
says.
That's what the model says,
have-
yes. The model
you
and
have
NASA
no
show
understanding of what the Kármán line is.
us. NASA show us the vacuum space next to Earth.
No, they don't.
But they do. They show.
The
Exactly.
Kármán
I
line
think-
is not the end of our atmosphere.
Yeah,
So,
that-
guys, I think it's
where
very,
we
very
see,
clear that Kimo is
blue-
not prepared to fulfill his burden of proof.
If it's
No.
not
So
blue,
therefore, I think we should just
Farmer's
ignore
Boy,
this point with him.
If we
and
don't see
move on.
blue in space, that means there's no atmosphere. So if you see blue, it means there's atmosphere.
No,
Yes.
you're wrong about that as well.
Let's say, for example, farmers, the atmosphere from Earth shot off into space. That atmosphere would be blue. Wherever it goes, would be blue.
It doesn't work like that, Keenan.
No, it would only be blue if there was enough of it.
Yeah, I just said that. I said if all the atmosphere from the Earth went away from the Earth and it was just the atmosphere, that would always be blue.
No, it wouldn't. There would never be enough of it.
What are you talking
know,
about? I
you're
said
so
if
fucking
all the
retarded.
atmosphere from the
Even
Earth...
if all of it went, there would not be enough of it if it went past that. If it went that far.
Now, you're not listening to what I'm saying, Professor Phil, Dr. Phil here. Now, look. If we take the atmosphere off the Earth and just put it next to the ball, you wouldn't see the ball. You would see the atmosphere that is blue.
And he's still not fulfilling his burden of proof,
Uh-huh.
people, so I don't know why.
Phil.
You should
See?
really hold his feet to the fire on that.
Stop
He's
derailing
making
now.
the
We've
claim
got
there's no
an
atmosphere
expert
above the
dress.
Kármán line,
Got an expert
and he
dress.
has no
Got a
measurements to
professional.
support it, and
Can we
I
get
can't
the
even get a
expert-
sentence out
First,
without
this
this
can't
ignorant
happen, this
bastard
can't.
over talking me.
Yeah.
So why
Got an
are you
expert. You
explaining
heard
that
Phil
you're
said
doing
no,
this?
it wouldn't. Yes,
I
it
don't
would.
know
No,
why
it wouldn't.
Chemo's doing this.
Look, Dr. Phil, Professor Phil, you understand my point. Atmosphere next to the Earth, you would see the atmosphere and not the Earth. Yes?
Fuck is he on about?
That's my point.
Phil,
He's
you
not
know I'm
saying
correct.
anything
Let's
worth
hear it.
arguing against.
No, he's not. He's just talking gobbledygook. Utter
Phil,
fucking
so what I'm trying to
gobbledygook.
say to you is that whenever NASA show the black sky at night, there is no atmosphere in that region because it would be blue, like what we see on
Not
the
enough
Earth.
to turn it blue.
Sorry?
There's not enough atmosphere to turn it blue, but there is still some atmosphere.
No, but it would turn blue.
Yes. The ISS orbits in a region that still has a little bit of atmosphere. That's why every now and then it has to boost its orbit because of the friction with that little thin bit of atmosphere. It just takes a while.
No. If it was an atmosphere,
Yes.
If it was an atmosphere, you would see it just like we see the
No.
atmosphere around us
No,
now.
there's not enough of it for you to see the blueness.
There's none
It's
of
not
it.
thick enough.
There is none. It fills the space. It fills the available space, and that means that gas is expanded throughout the vacuum.
No. You know the Earth's atmosphere is being held down by gravity.
No, I'm not
Fuck
saying
you,
that. I'm
gravity.
saying whatever gas is in space would fill that available. It wouldn't just stop still. It would fly off to fill the entire space, which means it would stretch out.
Why? Why
gas-
would it fly off?
The gas molecule would stretch out and fill the available space.
What?
Because high
Excuse-
pressure next to low pressure is a thermodynamics law. You know, the violations and stuff. You know all that stuff. So the idea
we
is
really
that...
have gone with the fucking comedy hour, haven't we? Fucking hell.
Well, you're making stuff up as you go along. I'm challenging that making up stuff.
No, that's the bizarre thing. It's you that's making shit up.
Guys, you have to ask yourself.
You're saying that if the gas from the Earth was to go into space...
he's not. I'll tell you what, I'll go and put the kettle on, fuck it.
I need a couple myself as well. Good point.
Thermodynamics laws only hold true at thermodynamica.
No, look, the thermodynamics. We're just saying that the thermo. So let's look at this. Thermo is like heat or temperature, yes, and then we've got dynamics is like a change, yes, or changing, constantly changing. So if we have a change in thermo or temperature, this is a law, right? Just to break it down into simple terms.
The law says it's constantly changing.
No. Dynamics.
I think just the opposite.
No, let's get the definition of dynamics, right? Because this is where you guys are struggling with terms and definitions. Okay? And
Why don't you get the definition for thermodynamics instead of just part of the word?
I know, yeah, but if you break it down, then it helps the people.
You break it.
Okay.
I want you to use the actual word instead of breaking it down.
The dynamics, it's like, you know...
or just ignore me entirely and keep doing something.
It's like, dynamics is like change within a system. Okay, so now let's get thermo. Okay, thermo. So we know thermo is relating to heat. Yes? So we've got a change in heat.
I would say
Thermodynamics.
it's relating to energy, Kosho, but then again, obviously...
Well, you can say all of that, Truss. I agree. All of that stuff, but that's... Yeah, but now we understand that if we have a violation...
I think everybody here had a very clear understanding of what thermodynamics is. You'll need
thermodynamics,
to understand it, so have to look it up and wiki page it.
But we're breaking the word down.
Don't include what other people know, because you don't know that. And at best... it's silly, and at worst, it's dishonest.
Right, so there's no point pretending to be smart, okay, when none of you guys understand thermodynamics, the dynamics that happen with thermo, right? Things relating to heat exchange.
How do you know that, Chemo?
Because...
I want you to now, without asking any questions, give me your evidence that nobody in this room understands anything about thermodynamics.
Right, so we have heat... High temperature on the Earth, and space is a low...
Is that addressing the question I just put to you, Kimo?
Space?
Yeah. Is that addressing the question I just put to you, Kimo?
No. Chaika, you've got the wrong definition. Look at
I got the wrong definition. No, it's Google got the wrong definition.
You've got the wrong one. You want the second one. Chaika, look at the second one.
Your trolling is a little more obvious this morning than...
Well, again,
you got the right one. I'm sure you got the right.
Look at the second point. What does it say? Talks about change in a system. So we're talking about the thermodynamic system, yes? And what we're trying to explain to everyone, and you, Chaiki, is if you have this high temperature, which you got to say high pressure, but we'll go with high temperature.
I see forces. I don't see temperature there.
No.
Guys,
You can outside is like if you went higher, it would get colder. Yeah.
Okay, Kimo.
You understand that?
We don't need to.
Supposed to go colder the higher you go up.
Go about it, Kimo.
Chaiki?
About what the definition of thermodynamics is. But
you understand that as you go higher, Chaiki, it gets colder.
Yeah.
So imagine as you go up into space, it's going to be freezing cold, right?
Why did you
extreme cold. Yes, because they had to wear those NASA suits to survive against extreme cold. minus 200 or something. I can't remember the number exactly, but it was minus something, the spacesuits, because it got really, really cold. Now we understand that. We understand there's high temperature, high pressure, whatever you want to call it down here. And then up there is low temperature, low pressure, again, whatever you want to call it. Now, we know because of the second law of thermodynamics, yes, we know that they cannot coexist side by side without the exchange. Yes, the change. So the high pressure would go to the low pressure or the low temperature unless, obviously, there was a barrier or a container or something, or a force. You guys say gravity. And hopefully, gravity will be a thing in the next coming months because BioDuel going to conduct an experiment.
You're monologuing and people are getting bored. I have a question for you, man.
I'm just wrapping up. Hold on. So, if we can get this experiment that shows gravity is a force, then obviously, all of this, where does the pressure come from, is a non-starter because we have the force.
You're right.
But right now, we don't have that force.
You're right about that. Okay, now you were thwarting Jeremy earlier from doing a test, which actually would show something. I'm curious why you don't support him in trying to do something that's obviously going to, in your case, with your belief, prove that the Earth is flat. If his test shows that it's flat, right, then you'll be substantiating y'all's claim. So I don't see why you don't support him instead of thwarting him from doing an actual appropriate test.
How do you have gas pressure next to a vacuum?
You
very, very low pressure, right, which is a very low temperature also. But this is a violation of second laws. And if there's a violation of such kind, then obviously we know that this cannot work in reality.
Kimo, you're confusing temperature with heat. It's different things.
Not quite, Chikey. I mean, if we're told that thermodynamics is to do with temperature or heat and then a change.
Yeah, they are different. Temperature and heat are two different things.
Yes, but you cannot, if you, in a container, if you increase temperature, you increase the pressure. You understand that? You do realise in a container they
we don't live in a container, do we?
No, you're right. Yes, don't live in a correct. But who's making that noise? Professor Phil, get your act together. But we're told that we live in gas.
What?
Who's making that noise with their microphone?
He's finished. He's not.
He ignored you, Kim, Kosho. Completely ignored you.
Somebody's scratching or something. I don't know what's going on. Stop. So look, Chikey, we're told that the atmosphere pressure.
No, nobody wants to hear.
Now, obviously, we need that force for there to be pressure, and obviously we need a container, and that's where the pressure comes from. So if we can discover and locate that pressure, yes, then there will be no need for a container because you have that force. Okay. So.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for.
If the pressure never gets there, why do we need the container?
The pressure. Well, no. The thing you see, it's high. Any amounts of pressure. If there's even any amounts of pressure here, it will. And if it's gas, especially, it will fill the space. If there's a space.
But it never gets there, Chemo.
Well, that is a second.
You do not need a container if there is a pressure gradient. Holy testicle Tuesday.
Yes, but to have a gradient is a pressure gradient, yes?
Exactly. So the pressure gradient is zero at the outside of the container. You don't need a fucking container.
Yes, but on the surface, it's 14.
There's no buts. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
On the surface, it's 14.7 PSI of pressure, yes?
There is no ifs, ands, or buts on a sphere.
What's causing the pressure? Chemo,
exactly. Exactly. Now, welcome to Flat Earth, Phil. Well done. Good question there.
Welcome to Globe Earth. You've been indoctrinated.
Me and Phil on the same page now. Me and Phil on the same page. What causes that pressure at 14.75, guys? Can you answer me and Phil? Me and the professor want to know what causes the pressure at 14.75. Anyone?
Yes, I'd like to know that.
We would like to know.
I can say that.
Go on.
I can say that.
Go on then.
Everybody.
Okay,
gets it.
so-
I want it from chemo.
No, Phil, we're on the same
Okay.
page. We want to know, where does that pressure come from at 14.7?
Yes, tell us, chemo.
No, me and Phil are on a quest to discover where this pressure comes from.
I'm not on a
He's
quest.
talking fucking shit again, isn't he?
Oh, Chemo, you're on the crest of fucking the land of retardation.
Now, look, seriously now. Phil says...
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's
Mustn't-
what you're on the
I
quest
shouldn't
on.
be laughing. It's too late at
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, Phil, we're having fun because we're trying to figure out where this
Seriously, he's a fucking
14.75 is it, I think, of atmospheric pressure on the surface, sea level pressure, where does that pressure come from?
14.7.
It's all the air that's above
Is
you.
it 5? I forget the number. I haven't said it for such a long time. 14.7. I haven't even spoken about it
You
in such a while.
forget
Chemo,
what the units are.
Chemo, right above you right now
Yeah.
is a cylinder perpendicular to the center of the earth. There's a cylinder of air
Mhm.
right above you.
Hey, Rach is here. Welcome, Rach.
And
Hey,
shut
change
the
the
fuck
subject.
up.
What's your position?
And the weight of that
uh,
air is pressing down on your head.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why that happens.
Well, again, all we're trying to figure out is atmospheric pressure, gravity.
It's not science and rockets, man. Holy
This is
fuck.
fucking
I'm going to
boring.
do what none of you guys were able to do, which is shut down the flat Earth. Okay, now me and BioJewel, when this experiment comes forward, me and
Why are
him,
you going back to this again?
we're
I
gonna
thought you
lead the
just talking
charge.
about air pressure.
well, because we need
I
a
think-
force. We need a force. Without that force, there is no pressure. We agree on that, yes?
I think Chemo and Zoz might be the best fucking trolls of either side.
No, they're not
On
even
the
trolls.
globe.
They're just fucking retards.
Yeah, I would go with that more.
But do
more
you
so,
guys see
but-
the problem? Without that force, can't talk about the pressure.
But we, chemo, we have that force. Thank you. Bye.
Well, that's what's stated. That there's a gravitational force pulling the atmosphere down, giving us 14.75 at sea level. Yes.
So you can't even tell me what
Chemo.
units that 14.7 is. That's how fucking retarded
Yes,
you are.
chemo. What
And-
causes it?
14.7
chemo.
PSI. Yes.
Thank you. You've now Googled it. Well
No,
done.
I didn't.
Chemo, what
Of
Chemo,
course,
Chemo,
known it was that
that-
farmers. Don't be
that-
silly. Of course, we know it's PSI. Pressure pounds per square inch.
Chemo, you have your experiment. It's ongoing. We're waiting to the result. Why are we talking about it?
I don't know. You can't distract.
Because it's
Distractions are
already been done, and we're just looking for the experiment to back up the paper.
Yes, okay, so there's no point to talk about it. Let's talk about Jeremy's experiment, which has not been done.
Well,
It
Jeremy's
does
going
not
to do it.
have
Yeah,
enough participants.
going to do it. Yeah, of course. Once he does it, gets the results in. But again, it's going to be difficult because unless he actually tracks the sun and says it's gone here to there,
Chemo.
it's going to be very
It's
difficult.
10 to the negative 17. Is that a negative number?
But let's not play the games. Now, I heard you earlier on talking
It's
about
not a
this.
game.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
heard-
asking you.
I heard you
you
earlier
think
on,
it's
then someone
a
said
negative
negative,
number?
then a negative positive, and positive negative, and we're having all kinds of fun. I get it. But what we're looking for, the most
It's
important...
not a negative number. And
No,
yeah,
you were like, it's a positive,
liars-
negative,
the-
positive. Is it a positive, It's all silly
the
games.
liars,
It's the same
liars-
as what's a triangle? Is it 1, 1, and 1? What does it add
the
up to? And then
liars,
you're like, what is
the
2,
liars
2,
at
and 2?
NASA, they fucked up in 1956 or whatever it was, and they said that space was a vacuum. And then all you dumb cunts thought that, fuck, it's a vacuum cleaner, so it's going to suck the atmosphere away, which is
Yep.
fucking stupid.
No, that's incorrect. Because there's pressure.
No, it is.
No,
It
no,
is.
no, no, no,
Bec-
that's
because you
incorrect.
think, no, hang on, because every single one of you motherfuckers think that because it's a vacuum, it sucks air away, which is a complete load of shit.
You don't know what you're talking about, Jazza. Now.
You don't know what you're
You
talking
don't know what you're
about,
talking about. Now, look. If,
Dingleberry.
Jazza, look, if you've got atmosphere on the Earth, yes, and we have a vacuum.
Yes. The
We don't have a
vacuum,
vacuum next to it.
it's not a vacuum fucking cleaner. It doesn't
No.
suck anything.
Even
It's just nothing.
Do you think a household vacuum sucks?
Yes, they do, and that's what you think the fucking
Oh
atmosphere
my
does.
gosh,
It doesn't do fucking
Jazza.
anything. It doesn't do shit.
Jazza, you think a household vacuum sucks?
Go on, tell us how they work then.
Oh my gosh, Jazza.
There you go. There
Don't
you
tell
go.
me
Okay,
you
no,
think
tell
a
us how
household
vacuum cleaner
vacuum
works.
sucks, Jazza. You're letting the
Okay,
Aussies
no,
down,
No,
mate.
where you go? Where you go?
You're
Where
letting
you
the
go?
Aussies down, mate. Come on.
Chemo,
Where you go?
chemo, tell us how
Now,
they
hold
work
on a
then.
second. Jazza, you think
No,
a
no,
household
forget,
vacuum...
no.
forget all the
You-
performance. How does a vacuum cleaner work?
You pick your vacuum up and you tell us how it works.
Jazza, you said a vacuum cleaner sucks.
We're
How?
all here.
Come on,
Super
chemo.
chat, super chat, chemo. Chemo's a super chat.
Jazza
Go for it.
made a claim about the
Yeah,
vacuum
super
cleaner
Ah,
sucking.
Super chat for Jim Panda, chemo. It's from random user. Okay, it says, chemo, Spurs chemo. How can you circumnavigate on the flat Earth?
What is that, a super chat?
Yeah.
Not a super chat. I don't see any super chats in here.
So my
I tried to talk about
No,
that
there are no
tonight.
super chats
Shut
here.
down.
Look, stop derailing it. Me and Jazz are having a very, very interesting conversation in terms of vacuums and what NASA say and what they
No.
claim.
We're really not.
Well, Jazza, I mean, look, you're bringing up
Jazz is a
things
good
about
man. Jazz is a
vacuums.
good
You say
man.
vacuums
He'll ask you the
suck.
same
Now,
question
we
as
know
you
that
said.
you've said something that's pretty off the wall, Jazza, because vacuums do not suck. The so-called atmosphere pushes into the vacuum. High pressure, Jazza, to low pressure, Jazza.
what? Ah, so you don't know how
Exactly.
heat works.
So your gas pressure, you give this message from me to Kiwi, Quantum Eraser, or Quebec Echo, or Quebec fucking dumb cunt. Gas pressure does have nothing to do with pressure of the atmosphere on the surface of the earth. And then say, after that, I personally signed that statement with Kiwi, you dumb motherfucking asshole.
I mean, I understand that you're going to give us a lot of abuse because, again, what we're doing is that we are expanding.
No, we'll see. You just said I'd have to give you abuse. I wouldn't have to give you abuse.
The people who just joined.
No, I mean, again, I understand where you're coming from, Jazz. It's like, well, hold on a second.
No.
We've got years and years of science. You've got all these
But
scientists.
I wouldn't know. That's the thing. I wouldn't have to give abuse if that dumb motherfucker
Yeah.
had any sense of what he was saying.
Look, I hear what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. I get it. Okay. Again, you've got a bunch of guys who are going up against science, the entire body of science, and saying, "Hey, you guys have made a huge mistake."
And Kiwi, I'm going to make this statement right now over live TV. Kiwi is the dumbest motherfucker on the globe.
Well, there's only one way to find out. My response to that is when we're called names is there's only one way to find out, and that is with an experiment, Jazza. Now, if you have an experiment to show that QE or myself or any other flat earther or Jeremy here is incorrect, we welcome that. We do not hand wave or shy away from science or experiments. Okay?
Yes, you do.
No, of course not. Now, again, of course, we have Cavendish, which I'm very into. My favorite idea of how to show that there is a force. I think it's one of your best. But the problem is we haven't done it in the correct manner. Yes. And obviously, when it's done in the correct manner, we have something obviously to work with. Currently, it's just an idea that supports the model.
I've got a very simple experiment that you can test, Chemo. Okay, it involves a 9-inch by 4-inch brick.
Okay.
Preferably a nice dense clay. Drop it on your foot.
Yeah.
And then tell me gravity doesn't exist.
Well, Phil, again, if we think about it, if we use our collective minds together, we can think, we can come up together with a solution to this. Let's change the medium, for example. Let's put the brick in custard, for example. Put our foot under custard, or in custard, as it were. Drop the brick. Will we have the same effect, Phil?
Why would I worry about the custard when I'm not in the custard?
Because what we're doing is we're trying to find out the cause to this effect. Now, was it because there was a force, or was it because of the medium that you were currently in? Good questions. We ask good questions, and that's what we try and find out, Phil. We try and explore.
Well, if the air resistance is negligible, then why does everything fall at the same rate?
What, in a vacuum, like, you mean?
Not only that, Chemo, you know, you can take a gravimeter all around the world, and there's actually a very, very little difference almost everywhere you go. This proves that the Earth is a sphere.
It may well do, but what we need in this experiment is a cause and effect. So now if you're saying that the mass causing the gravimeter to give an effect, yes, again, we got to test that, Phil. We must head into...
Well, you do. How do you think the gravimeter works?
I have no idea, Phil, but I understand there's an effect. Well, yes, we have an effect that's saying that mass... It
relies on this fact.
Sorry?
It relies on this simple fact.
No. You have a device, we have an effect, yes, and you're saying the effect is what? Gravity. Okay, fine. Go to the laboratory, get some masses. Let's try to see if there's an attraction and see if your hypothesis holds true. Okay?
Chemo, the people who made the gravimeter did not consider density. They only considered gravity.
Gravity, yeah. So that's mass attracting mass, yes?
That's what they considered, and it works.
Okay, fine. That's mass
density, Chemo.
So hold on, gravity.
By the way, Chemo, the satellites don't rely on density to go whizzing around the Earth.
Yeah, I'm just...
Did you consider that, Chemo?
Yes, all I'm saying is that we have an effect, yes?
But, Chemo, there's no density around the Earth for the satellite to be concerned with.
Again, there's no argument from me on all of this. We have an effect.
Well, then what are we arguing? Well, we're on the same page then, Chemo. The Earth is a sphere.
Oh, no, hold on.
Good on you.
That's a presupposition that you know has to be tested, or we can go ahead with that idea, yes?
How many times do we have to go over the same ground again?
Well, until we have an experiment to back up the claim that we're talking about. So we're saying that the Earth is a ball spinning, flying through space. Sounds great, interesting, I like it. But without that experiment, it's just poetry, Phil.
Oh, and Rachel says that the medium gives us direction. It does not.
Not Rachel's on it.
Give us direction.
See?
It's
all relative, Phil. It's all relative. Go ahead, Druss. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. You were talking. We both talked at the same time.
Yeah. So basically, it's relative.
Let's carry on.
Basically, it's relative, Phil. It's relative density disequilibrium.
I've heard the sleeping warrior nonsense,
and it's
not.
Well, I did try to say we are the.
Can I just make a quick point, Kimo, if I may? Thank you. Point to Professor Phil. So one of the problems I pointed out, if everything's, if things of a greater density are always below things of a lesser density, then we don't need to explain why the atmosphere sticks to Earth, because the vacuum or the near vacuum of space is less dense than our atmosphere.
There you go.
No, there is no there you go. Unless we have an experiment. I mean, what is wrong with you guys in experiments? You don't like them?
I love experiment. Kimo, what's the cause? What's the cause for relative density?
Relative density.
Yes. Why do we have a gas pressure gradient?
Relative density.
What do you say is the cause?
Where do we observe relative density?
what is the cause for the pressure gradient?
What is the cause for the pressure?
Because where do I see it? In my room.
Pressure gradient.
Relatively more dense at my feet than my head.
Yes. So you have a
Measurable.
Yes, you have a pressure.
So what causes it?
Okay, so you have a pressure. Be one or two things: a container or a force. Something is forcing that pressure.
Yes. What do you say causes it?
I've just told you, either a container or...
Container don't cause a gradient.
Well, it might
cause... Your second law of thermodynamics forbid a gradient.
Well, it might cause the pressure, if you're asking about the pressure.
How?
Because you can't have pressure...
The gas move in all direction will fill the container and everything is done.
There's no
density.
So there's no gradient in the container.
That's what you say. I say there is a gradient
is there a gradient
in the
or
container.
not a gradient?
There is.
There is a gradient. Yeah?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so the pressure in a container. So the pressure comes from the container.
From the container?
Mm-hmm.
The container causes a pressure gradient.
Yes, the container causes the pressure.
Well, I don't understand your argument. First, you bring the second law of thermodynamics that says the pressure will be equal everywhere.
No. You said there'd be a
gradient. Then you said the container.
I didn't say there'd be a gradient. You said there'd be a gradient.
You need to make up your
Either way,
mind.
Chikey, the pressure comes from the container.
I'm not talking about the pressure. I'm talking about the gradient.
Which is a pressure gradient, yes?
Yes, it's a pressure gradient.
There is a higher pressure at the bottom, yes, 14.75, yes?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that comes from the container.
But I'm asking why it's lower at the top, Kimo.
Well, it's not lower at the top, is it? It's the same everywhere.
It is. Well, let's do an experiment.
It's been done.
That's easy. That you don't need airplanes. You don't need the sun. Nothing. You need the container and
a balloon with helium. Pop the balloon.
No.
Pop the balloon, and the helium will go everywhere. No. The helium will go everywhere.
I don't care about helium. We don't live in helium.
No, but we're talking about the gas. Yes.
Yes. Any gas.
It doesn't matter. Even the air in that container will be the same everywhere. The gas will spread out evenly.
That's what you say. Do an experiment, Kimo.
Do an experiment. I mean, I think that's not something that we need to prove because
what?
We're not claiming there is a. Well, I'm not claiming. There's
I'm claiming there is a pressure gradient.
No, I'm claiming there's no pressure. You say there is.
At least in my room there is, yes.
Show me that pressure. Show me the pressure without the container.
That's an oxymoron, pressure gradient. You can't have different pressures side by side. How does that make any sense?
That's what you say.
No, that's what you said.
Is in argument with you because it does measure.
Your barometer. You talk about your water barometer. Your barometer that measures the water gas in the air, that's all it measures?
What?
Look, we're talking about the container, David. The gas is in the container. He's saying that it pulls, go down. What's the old expression? It goes down.
I didn't say pull. I didn't say pull.
That's the one. You all know the song, right? He's saying that the gas is pulled down and does some miraculous things piling up.
I said no such thing.
So what are you talking about? And the gas spreads in all directions.
I said gas pressure is higher at the bottom than the top.
That's in the
How
model.
do you explain it? That's all. I didn't say anything.
That's in the model.
I left this for you to explain, not for me.
Yeah, that's.
I can't explain it, but you can, obviously.
Well, let's talk. Look, he's friendly muting us, David. Can't even respond to him. We're being blocked out.
I just want to know.
I don't speak.
I want to know how you can have a pressure gradient with a gas. If you put gas in a container, there's no gradient inside of a container.
Right. Chikey says
sure.
there is.
So it's easy to test, right? It's easy to test.
Well, prove it then, Chikey.
What do you mean?
Prove there is a gradient in a container with gas.
Blue marble?
Aha! You see, we've done it. We've shown you again. You're busted, right?
No, he's
What
not.
busted?
Busted.
Blue Marble did an excellent video using butane gas, showing that there was a pressure difference between the top of his container and the bottom of his container.
He did.
Hold on. Whoa. Was that different?
was
Whoa,
actually rather
Druss.
cool.
Was that the same gas or different gases?
No,
Same gas.
Same gas, just butane.
The same gas, just one gas. Yeah.
So you're talking about the difference between the liquid butane and the gaseous butane, because
No. We're just talking about
Exactly,
the gaseous
David.
butane, Dave.
Well,
You should go and watch the video
I don't
first.
know how you could pressurize butane unless it turned into a liquid, because when you get a lighter, you ever seen those clear lighters? That's butane in those lighters.
Yeah, I know what it is, but the thing is, butane is heavier than air, and because of the force of gravity, that creates the pressure in the pipe, showing a higher pressure at the bottom of the pipe than at the top of the pipe.
What are you talking
Oh
about?
no, it's crazy. Absolutely
He's
crazy.
mentally insane.
Oh no, it's insane.
Are you saying that just because there's a liquid at the bottom, that there can't be a pressure gradient?
Exactly. How can you take nitrogen? How can you take nitrogen or oxygen and have a gradient in it? You got 98% of your atmosphere is oxygen and nitrogen. Just show us an experiment where you just take a nitrogen at room temperature and show us a gradient in it. It's real
I
simple.
have measurements. Hold on, I have the measurements here.
This looks promising, David.
And then show us where your nitrogen. And then show us where your nitrogen wells are at.
What?
Here, see this pressure gradient?
What is that
See this?
there? That's the barometer.
It's a barometer.
Okay.
My room.
Okay.
The higher pressure is at my feet, and the lower pressure is above my head.
That's the temperature, dude. Temperature. And plus you're
What
inside.
temperature? My room.
Plus you're in a container.
Not really. It's open, but okay.
No idea what he's talking about.
He wanted pressure gradient with oxygen and nitrogen, and here it is.
He's presuming the attributes and the characteristic of the room that Chike is in, rather than actually asking him. So he's making a really bad presupposition, because if the doors are open, then it's not really a sealed container.
And I did this test. I did it with the fan open that mixed the air all the time in the room. Nothing changes. It's always the same.
Look, do you know what we're looking for? What we're asking for? I don't think you quite understand, right? I'm trying to show that gravity pulling the gases down, giving it a 14.75 at sea level. What we're trying to
Don't tell me what I try. I didn't try to show anything. I asked you, how does it happen?
I've just told you with a container or
Yes,
a force.
container. Got it.
So you can't discount that there's a force, is what you're saying, Chemo.
Where the forces? What forces?
How can you say with the container where QE always say the gas in the container will equalize?
Yes, you can't have gas pressure, a gradient in a container. If you air up your tire, you think there's a gradient in your car tire as you air it up?
Adam, David. Not listening, he's
There
not
is.
getting it.
Do you know any container that does not contain a gradient?
Pressure's equal all the way around that tire.
That's what you say. Do you know any container that has the same pressure everywhere? I'd like to see this.
Why would you think that there would be a different pressure in a container?
Why not?
If you stick a tire gauge on your car, whether the nipples at the top of the tire or the bottom of the tire, it's going to read the same.
Well, no, not if it's accurate enough. It won't.
David, who calls those nipples?
Actually, in Hebrew, it's we call it
the most
ismail.
important subject.
Yes, it's nipple.
So we're trying to figure out if there's gravity, Chikey. You gonna help or not?
I don't care. I didn't say gravity. Did you hear me say gravity?
Yeah, but we need force to pull the gas down. Yes.
First, we need to do the experiment and see that we have a gradient. If we have a gradient, you have a problem.
If there's a gradient, then you have either the container causing this or
No, QE says the container does not cause it. The pressure in the container will be equal.
We're not QE over here. You're talking to two gas pressure experts here. Okay.
Right. So, Chikey, want to give us the cause to your pressure, where it comes from. Again, if you say it's a force, let's work with that force. Let's figure out if there is a force, and let's go from there. No point just guessing, is there? Right? Guess what's causing this pressure.
No,
No, of course not. We're going to figure out scientific.
Yeah, figure it out. Tell me how it happens. When you have the first, you present the second law of thermodynamics, and second, you have a pressure gradient. How can they live together?
What, two different gases? Or what do you mean?
No, not two different gases. One law says the pressure will be equal. Reality says that it is not.
So you think you can go
To make them live together. Because that's what we see, and we have a law.
Never show that, Chikey. Gas pooling.
What do you mean?
No one could
Easily.
Right, you just friendly muting me, Chike. I'm not going to speak. I'm going to make a quick cup of tea.
No, you said I can't show it, and I said easily shown.
Too excited, and all we're trying to do is figure out gas pools or not. Not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing they were saying to me earlier. I was speaking this kind of monotonish voice that I have, that evidently I'm triggered and I'm excited, and yeah. So I think it's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's just a distraction from the point to allow chemo to pivot away. Like he pivoted away from the fact that, I posted a video showing a guy, using the Aristophanes experiment to measure the circumference of the Earth. Fully videoed in 2 locations.
Wow, we're really impressed that you think that a stick and a shadow proves how many miles around the Earth are. That's impressive.
No, a stick and a shadow does not, but 2 sticks and 2 shadows at enough distance apart tells us some interesting things.
Oh, well, it does. It tells you that there's a shadow on a stick if the sun's above your head. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and if those 2 shadows are of different lengths at the same time of day, that tells you something about, the shadows that are being caused, doesn't it, Dave?
What does it matter that the sun comes back around 24 hours later? You don't know how. Why? You don't know how. Why?
What the experiment is.
Why do you interrupt?
Because they're eager to get their point out, David. Come on. Work with them. Work with these guys who lack the science and the knowledge. Give them enough information.
Yeah, well, we try. Help David, you're right. I understand that. Especially as he couldn't even describe what the Aristophanes experiment was. He needs help, Chemo. You need to help him.
Again, we're looking at modern day understanding and technology.
You've got no understanding.
Modern day.
Why do we need to look at modern day when we have all the information we need from
the
Greeks?
We're back to the ancient world. He's back to the ancient world. Why do you want to go back to the ancient world?
It's the fact that it's the continuity from the ancient world through to modern times, and the fact that we've built up this huge library of experimentation and tests and results, and from that we've derived, some really good ideas on how we believe or know that the Earth works.
Just like you think there's a gradient, you can have pressurized gradients. How the hell do you have pressurized gradients?
I know there's a gradient, David. That's something I've measured.
Pressurized gradient. Answer that. If I air up a tire, how do I make that tire have a gradient on the inside?
I'm gonna say that there's an attenuating force. And one of the funny things, if you go to the Burj Al Khalifa in Dubai, they actually have a barometer at the bottom and they have a barometer at the top, just to show the amazing amount of pressure differences between those lifts.
How are you going to air up a tire and have different pressures inside the tire, man?
Well, I'm talking about the atmosphere as a whole. I think that would be quite difficult to measure.
If your atmosphere has pressure, then it would be just like a car tire.
No, but it's not, David, and that's what we observe.
Oh, but it's not. It's not.
When we measure
so it's not.
When we measure
it's not really pressure then now, is it? Okay, thank you. There we go, Chemo. It's not. There we go. It's really not pressure, Chemo. Did you hear that?
I didn't say that, David. You weren't listening to what I was saying, but you were talking over me the entire time. So thank you. In fact, I can't even finish this statement of you ever talking to me without.
This is what you do, Dress. Now, instead of you realizing, well, David's going on and on and on, you decide I'm going to compete with him and go on and on and on just as much as he is and try and prove a
No, I
point.
was trying to finish my point, Chemo, and he was over talking me, and for once I didn't give the mic up.
You're
like I
trying to
normally do.
prove a point by saying if he's doing it, I'm going to do it, and
No.
it's not going to get anywhere, is it like that?
No, I back down 90% of the time, Chemo, and this one time I didn't. Okay, the same as I just back down to you.
You do it again.
I can't even get this
Give
point
no
out now
leeway
without David over
whatsoever.
talking me.
None at all. You don't learn from me. You don't learn from Jem. You don't learn from Veach. Give a little bit of leeway if somebody wants to speak. Okay.
I got a question. How can you cause a pressure gradient in a container as you pressurize it? You can't
pressurize it.
Yeah, if your car is flat and you put your tire gauge on there, it's going to say 0. Okay, you start airing it up, it'll have 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, and start going up. How do you suppose that there would be a pressure gradient inside that tire? How would you make it have one?
Not from a car tire itself, but I mean other containers where we have made these measurements and we can see the difference. So as I said, in a car tire, it would be pretty difficult because it would be a very, very minor change. But we do notice this. But the point I want to get back to, if I can finish, David, is that in the atmosphere, it's clearly observable.
When's your shift over, Dross?
When I decide to leave.
Is that soon?
Don't know, it depends how I feel.
I saw you just posted something. What's that all about?
What's that?
I saw you just posted something about social media.
Can I say something? You got to remember.
Well, everything's fine, Kosho. Just let them speak. Everything's normal.
You got.
Go ahead, David.
You got to remember one thing. All this pressure was done 33 feet below the water line. They took a hose. They filled it with water. It went 33 feet down. That's why there's 14.7 at sea level, because there's 0 at 33 feet down, right?
What?
Isn't that how you get your pressure? You go 33 feet underwater, then you go up to the surface.
No.
And then it's 14.7.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
That's correct, David. 33 feet, which is 10 meters below the water.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's where they get.
Exactly.
Yeah, we know that. So where do they get the
That's
pressure
not
from?
where we get it.
That is exactly how you get it from. Yeah, he reversed it.
It's double the air pressure down there.
Whatever. You don't. There is no. See, the problem is you're going from a liquid to a gas and comparing the two, and then you're doing it with water, which is what the atmosphere is made of, and then claiming that nitrogen and oxygen make up all the damn air, and then want to claim that it's not the water gas causing the barometer change after you already used a barometer that's a water barometer to set all your standards for all your barometers. How in the hell does that make any sense?
Well, that's not how it works.
One word you said did not make sense,
That was
David.
just utter garbage.
Right. If your barometer is set up at 33 feet below the water line, okay?
No, it's not.
It's not. I don't know where you're getting that
how
from.
do you think the first barometer was set? How do you think the first barometer was set up?
Not by going 33 feet underwater.
It was set up by Torcelli using a water column, not under the water.
Whatever. They took 33 feet of water.
Yeah, but not under the water. That was above water, and that was a limitation on how far the atmosphere could push that water up. Galileo then came to Torcelli and say, "Hey, why don't you use mercury? It's way denser, and you won't need a 33-foot tall barometer."
You can't use mercury until you figure out.
David,
Why do you guys
people finish?
Why do you interrupt, man?
You interrupted me. I was halfway through my point. And you started over talking me.
You never have a point.
I just made one, so you obviously missed that by over talking me.
Okay, the first barometer was a water barometer. Do we all agree to that?
Yes, by Torcelli.
Okay, and that barometer was set up to be, and it was done 33 feet with 33 feet below the water line, correct? To get your 14.7.
It was above water, so it was above sea level,
I don't
and
give a
it was done,
damn.
and as a
I'm talking
column
about
of
the
water.
33
And the
feet of water,
max-
correct?
Okay, I'm just going to shut up because you're going to overtalk me every time I start
Okay,
talking.
thank
So
you
enough
very
of
much.
this.
Just reading off Google.
The
Like, David's got Google
14.7 is
too.
based on
I don't
33
have to
33
look,
feet below the
I'm
water line,
doing this off the
correct?
top of my head, mate.
Bullshit.
I'm
David,
sorry
they're
to
trying
have
to
an
shut you
inability
out,
And at
to
this
David.
say
point
mate.
here,
Yeah.
this tells you that they're using water. All measurements from that point forward are based on a water barometer, a mercury barometer. Any barometer you build after that, all the lines on that barometer are based on that 33 feet.
And that's where the pressure comes from, like under the water. So outside, where do you get that pressure from?
No, it's not underwater, you fucking
It's
idiot.
a water pressure gauge. Where do you get the pressure from outside?
It's a tube of water outside.
Where does the pressure come from? Do you
Well,
breathe
the
heavy
atmosphere.
sigh of relief or stress or whatever that?
The weight of the atmosphere
Atmosphere.
pushing down on the column of water.
Aha!
Where
I
the-
like that. You said
I can't believe how fucking retarded
you said
you are.
pushing.
You're an adult.
Okay, so you can't have pushing without a force. Now, where does that force come from?
Gravity.
Gravity.
Okay, so let's have a look at an experiment that proves mass attracts
Gravity.
mass.
Oh. What's the fucking point?
We can do this all day long.
That experiment.
You
Timo,
will
that
confess to
experiment.
your murder or the crimes that you have committed, right? You're under heavy interrogation. Now, if you're claiming that there was
go
a
fuck yourself, you deluded twat.
if you're claiming there was a pressing
Chemo, go fuck yourself, you deluded twat.
pressing TT guy, farmer's boy,
Hey, Chemo, go fuck yourself, you deluded
you
twat.
cannot have a press TT guy without. Sorry, 1 second. You cannot have a press TT guy without a force. Go ahead, Mo.
Gravity is a force. You deluded twat.
So without making mouth noises, produce something. Ballers.
Talking of deluded twats, here's Merle.
So
Hey, what's Merle? What's Merle coming back?
Citations,
Fuck no.
substance, something. You've
Something
been
you never provide.
you've
Citation
been
for what?
out here nearly 2 hours running your mouths.
Oh.
What you talking about? I got measurements. What
He did.
citations you got?
He did bring measurements.
What are you looking for evidence of what, Merle?
You got something besides mouth noises?
Well, what are you looking for
About
evidence?
what?
Are you looking for evidence for what?
Where's your globe?
We weren't talking about globe.
Sat on the fucker.
Well, they would say we are standing on it, Merle, and what we're trying to do is figure out the radius, which obviously is 3959.
No, we were trying to
Oh.
figure out the pressure gradient.
Oh, yes,
Timo.
yes, quite right. So, Merle, they say there is 14.7 PSI at sea level. Now, of course, to have that pressure, it needs...
Well, it's absolutely measurable, Kim. You can't just say, oh, you were claiming it. That's absolutely measurable.
Look, fundy mute me. So, Merle, if there was 14.7 PSI... Fundy mute me. Well, let me speak. Well, let me finish. So, Merle, if...
No, I just want to understand what you just said.
Fundy mute again, you see?
What does that mean?
Stopping the truth. You're muting me.
What does that mean?
You're fundamentalist muting me. Your fundy globe religion is not allowing me to speak. You're a fundamentalist.
Well, you can measure the pressure, atmospheric pressure at sea
You
level.
are a
so
fundamentalist.
Why are you denying that?
Look, here we go again.
Why are you denying
Fundy mute
Why
before.
are you denying that you can measure atmospheric pressure at sea level? Why are you denying that?
I'm trying to reply. You're not even letting me speak.
But you just denied. You said that we're claiming that there's pressure at sea level. It's not a claim. It's a measured fact.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. You claim there is pressure at 14.7 psi at sea level.
I'm not claiming it. It's a measured fact.
Just measured it 2 seconds ago.
Okay.
It's not a claim.
Okay, so where does
It's a
that...
provable fact, you cretin.
Okay, where does that pressure come from?
Well, I know where it comes from, but you don't start with the point you claim it exists. We know it exists. You have to explain where it comes from. Too.
It doesn't exist. It's made up nonsense. What are you talking about? Just like the globe is made up nonsense.
So barometers are made up nonsense.
Yeah, because they presuppose there is a pulling force pulling the atmosphere down.
Well, you can measure changes in pressure when with a barometer. So what the fuck are you talking about?
So you're saying that
Okay,
if you... All right, fine. So
tell us how a barometer does this then. Explain to us this invisible hand. Tell us about this invisible hand of nitrogen that goes in and pushes this barometer, water in the barometer down. And tell us how oxygen and nitrogen, which that makes up 98% of your atmosphere, does this. Please explain immediately.
They're colorless gases with mass.
Okay, so this invisible weightless mass.
Well, they're invisible because they're colorless. Yeah, so that's what a gas is. A colorless gas is invisible.
And they float. Think about that. So you've got an invisible floating gas.
Mm-hmm.
Gas expands to fill the available space. Of course, it floats around. That's a property of gas.
But I thought it pulled. I thought you had a gradient.
Well, you do have a gradient, yes.
So it flows around and it forms a gradient at the same time.
Yes, it does. Yes.
And how does it do that then? What magical thing causes that?
Just like water.
Well, it's not magic. It's not magic.
They got more magic tricks than tricks are for kids. They need a lot of tricks when they were kids.
It's not magic.
Yeah, but Moya, with water, the water comes from the walls of the container. Without the container, how can you have water pressure, Moya, without the container?
You don't need you don't need a container.
Hold on, Moya. Where does the pressure come from if the water's not in the container? Exactly. Carry on, David.
And how can you take? And you've got to remember these arbitrary lines. It's just like having a cup of water, a quart of water, a half a cup of water. You figure all that out by first off, you set the amount what you're going to make a cup, right? So then you have a line on that cup. It's just like with your water barometer. You stuck it down under the water 33 feet, and then you drew a line. And from that point, you put 14. You drew a line on this barometer and said, okay, this is 14.7. It's we're freebasing, and we're 33 feet under the water, and now we're
Dave. Dave, the thing is that we don't take an arbitrary thing there. We actually can measure the fact that it supports 14 pounds. A weight that we all agree on weighs 14 pounds. It'll support a column of 14 pounds.
Of water.
Yeah, no, wait. I explained to you, David. No, actually, we're measuring the column of no water. The vacuum we measure. Not the water.
Exactly.
How much vacuum is there? Yes.
Exactly. You're measuring the vacuum in the very first barometer.
Above the water.
They used water to do this, correct?
Huh?
Sure.
It's irrelevant what
the vacuum in this barometer. The very first barometer was a water barometer.
You can use corn syrup or engine oil, any liquid, alcohol.
Because
show us a motor oil barometer then.
It's irrelevant what the liquid is. It's the mass.
It has everything. It has everything to do with the liquid, you moron.
It does not. It's pounds per square inch.
Why do you think mercury has the ability to tell you if there's a difference in the barometer change?
Because mercury has mass, as does water.
Because mercury changes states with temperature.
What?
No, it's not changing state. It's still a liquid.
Yeah.
It's just, what do you mean? It either contracts or expands?
Yeah, but that's not changing state. When you're changing states, you're changing from one form of matter to another.
Expanding? Exactly. And so mercury expands or contracts, correct?
Not expanding and contracting. It's sucking up it's being pushed up the tube into the vacuum above it, and the amount of pressure
by the imaginary pressure, right?
It's not
It's not imaginary pressure because you can fucking measure it. Of course, it's not imaginary fucking pressure.
No, that's
Christ
density.
almighty.
That's density.
Okay, so when you use the water barometer, when you take a water barometer, what do you think is happening on that water barometer? What gas do you think is pressing or
doesn't have to be a
changing
gas.
the vacuum in the water barometer?
In this example, it's a liquid that's pressing against it.
One side.
Exactly. The
On one
water
side.
in the
On one
atmosphere.
side.
You guys try to act like
No, the water intake column.
the only thing that a barometer measures is how much water gas is in the air.
No.
That's it.
Jesus
That's it.
Christ.
What gas Cracker keeps coming up with?
It's going to have to do with the water gas.
Wait. A question for David.
Where are your nitrogen levels at?
Question for David.
How is
Question for David.
nitrogen? Do you think that nitrogen changes states between 30 and 150 degrees or 120 degrees? Do you think that it contracts and expands?
Wait, David, I have a question for you.
I'm asking you a question.
Water, listen to the question carefully.
Nitrogen, which is a dead gas, right? They call it the dead gas. There's
What-
it basically won't burn nothing.
David,
right?
David, listen to the question. If water barometer measure how much water there is in the air, what does mercury barometer measures?
Exactly the same thing. How much water?
How much mercury there is in the air?
No, how much water?
No, it's
because
mercury. Sorry, it's mercury. We're talking about mercury now.
The mercury barometer is based on the water barometer.
No,
All
it's
the
a
lines
mercury
of the
barometer.
water It's just like having a gasoline engine. Okay, you got it's basically you can have different kinds of gasoline engines. Basically, all you've done is take the lines off the water barometer, put it on a mercury barometer, and say, "Here you go."
David, can you describe how a barometer works or how it's built? The basic idea of a barometer, because I don't think you understand it.
See what you guys believe is because when you go up, a barometer changes. Also, the vacuum in the barometer. Just listen to me.
Did you say there's a vacuum in the barometer? You do understand there's a vacuum in the barometer, right?
Exactly. There's a vacuum in the barometer. That's just like if you take one on the. It's just like a barometer will change. It's just like a barometer will change if you put it on the floor and take it up and put it on a shelf, right? The barometer reading will change. Correct.
I don't know if you need a barometer pretty accurate to do that. I suppose I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like a barometer changes when you go up. You can measure what altitude you're at with a barometer.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not. I don't know if it's going to change top of a desk to bottom of a desk.
Okay, well, whatever.
It probably will very, very, very minutely.
A barometer has two. A barometer has two functions. Correct. It'll tell you how. It'll tell you. It'll tell you how high you are off the ground. It'll tell you how high you are off the ground. Correct. And it'll tell you if it's. And it'll tell you if it's going to rain. That's only two functions.
No, it doesn't tell you if it's going to rain.
What does a barometer do? That's when it tells you if it's going to rain or not. What
What?
Jesus
Measure
Christ.
the atmospheric pressure.
They use radar to determine if it's going to rain.
The barometer is what you use to know if it's fixing to start raining.
No.
Oh, look, that's a little thing.
It may.
Why do you think they have barometers then?
To measure air pressure.
Measure air pressure.
If there's a low front coming
When the
in.
air pressure changes, it means that it's going to rain.
Sometimes, yes.
Not necessarily all the time, though. It's measuring
Well,
air
it
pressure.
depends on how much. It depends on how much air pressure there is.
No.
Right? How much the barometer changes.
No,
the more the barometer changes, the more chance there is of rain.
Oh, chances, maybe.
No, you're putting the cart before the horse. Oftentimes, when a front moves in and the air pressure changes, it brings along some weather with it. It may bring along rain, but just because the air pressure is changing does not necessarily mean rain will follow.
No, exactly.
That's why my dogs get upset whenever it's about to start storming, is because they're more sensitive to changes in air pressure, and they can tell by the change in the air pressure that it's about to storm. My dogs are more reliable to tell me whenever there's going to be rain than the Weather Channel is.
Anyway, I'm glad we cleared that up. But yeah.
Why do you have why do people have barometers?
What do they do? Bark 3 times?
No, they climb underneath my desk and start shaking. They're terrified of bad weather.
A barometer is an instrument to tell you what the weather's going to do, correct? That's what the function of a barometer is to do. Tell you is when a high pressure system's coming in and then it's fixing to rain is what your story is.
It's measuring
there you
air
go.
pressure.
Yes, pressure.
That's all it's doing is measuring air pressure and telling you what the change in air pressure
It's
is.
measuring water
It's
gas.
up to
How
you
is
to
it
interpret
what
is water gas?
How is nitrogen pressurizing?
Because it's a gas that has mass.
So
what is water gas? Can somebody tell me what water gas is?
What temperature is changing this gas to pressurize?
It's a weather system.
Temperature change.
It's a weather
Why are we
system.
having this discussion?
98% of your atmosphere is nitrogen and oxygen in all of your stupid little books. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how is nitrogen compressing becoming more pressurized?
Do you for some reason think that nitrogen can't be compressed?
Nitrogen's a dead gas that has nothing.
That doesn't mean it can't be compressed.
What temperature's not going to do anything to it. It's gas.
Whatever dead gas means does not mean it can't be
It's
pressurized.
non-flammable. It's non-flammable. It's just a dead
That
gas.
doesn't have anything to do with whether or not it can be placed under pressure, dude.
What temperature is this gas going to start gaining pressure?
What?
gas, there is
I
a
don't
pressure.
understand. I don't
Anything above
understand what he's
absolute
trying to
zero.
say.
Lovely echo.
Anything above absolute zero.
We've got an echo now for some reason. Dr. 50, is that you?
I'm using push to talk.
Not Dr. 50, it's Speak. I can't remember who you were.
And I'm on
Me?
Bluetooth. I got a headset in.
Who just said me?
That snack did.
You're the one who's got the echo.
Oh,
it does
it's
sound
Snack.
quite good though, but you've
Okay,
got an
Snack.
echo.
Hang on.
Snack
There.
attack.
It's not really. It's okay. So it's not. You guys aren't. You can't hear yourselves, right?
No, I don't think it's you.
It was just. It was just me. Like
I think it's
I had
Dr. 50.
reverb on because I was playing guitar the other night.
There you
Sorry.
go. It's the reverb we could hear.
Yeah,
Nice
I
reverb.
just turned the
What was
reverb
it?
off.
What was it?
Anyway, David, the same thing that causes oxygen to have a it's just our atmosphere has high pressure and low pressure systems. It's that's the flow of air in the atmosphere, and funnily enough, Coriolis effect that causes this. And weather and cells and convection currents. The sun heating up the
honestly, this is
atmosphere,
just-
things rising and falling. I mean, yeah, it's just
David can read from Google too. Like, it's not hard, guys.
But why
No, I
doesn't
did
he then? He might
geography
not get so
I
much
did
stuff wrong.
geography in
Though.
Year 9, Earl. I learned about this in Year 9 in geography. I'm not Googling this shit, and I remembered
It's
it.
obvious when you're reading.
Well, I'm not reading it, so you can fuck a duck.
You
So
can,
it's
you
just
can-
coming off the top of your head, is it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Some
What
It's
else?
basic. It's, it's Year 9 fucking geography, mate.
What else?
Year
do you
9
know?
fucking geography.
you can hack right off, man.
What else do you know?
I know how to count to 20 on my fingers and toes.
So where's the exact coordinate? Where's the exact coordinate of planet Earth?
In relation to what? Like
what?
What
Zero,
coordinates
zero,
are we
zero.
working off?
Well, that's
So
easy.
where-
Zero is correct.
Where in the universe
Zero.
is it?
The coordinates are zero.
Hold on, so we're not
Where in
talking
the
about
universe?
checking
I don't know
mode.
which childish mod
where in
removed me
the-
from chat, but you're a little bitch,
where-
whoever you are.
Where in the universe is
Complicated, man.
planet Earth?
Right
And
here.
where is the sun traveling?
There.
The Earth is underneath your feet.
It's an unfashionable arm of the what's the saying? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm sure someone in this.
It's
You have to
the
understand
spiral
how
arm in the unfashionable part of
I
the,
think what
Milky
Mel's
Way.
asking. Let me try and help this question.
Kimo, shut up! I want to hear what farmers were to say because that
All right, go
farmers
on.
go again.
Hang on. Do you want? Go on. I'll find the exact quote because I want to
Okay.
get it absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
Mel, let's say Mel. You know, like they say
I think Merle is trying to say that a boat doesn't exist if it's lost at sea and doesn't know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, something similar, like we're in a balloon expanding. Where in that balloon are we? I think. Are you asking that, Mel? Like, is that what you're asking? Correct me if I'm wrong, or if the universe is expanding, where is? Yeah, no coordinates.
I'm asking them, where is the sun traveling to?
Well, it's in the
direction is it
balloon. It's
Right
all in
there,
the balloon.
right there.
What's it heading towards?
Can we have
Right
some
there.
relevance
But Mel,
rather
listen to
than
what I
just
just said, Mel.
random deflecting questions
Mel, listen to what I
leading
just said.
nowhere, sea lioning for no reason?
Mel, listen to
How
what I
about
just...
some purpose behind it?
Mel, listen to
Maybe
what I just
just
said.
maybe
Mel.
maybe just everybody just.
What are you
stop
trying to
for
get
a
to, Marl?
Right.
Hold on,
so,
let me speak to Merle a second. Merle, so the model they have is an expanding universe. So imagine it like a balloon. You're inside the balloon. Balloon is expanding.
You're on the surface of the balloon, Chemo.
You're on the
You're
surface.
on the surface of the
Oh, there you
expanding
go.
balloon.
There you
yes.
go, Mel. You're on the surface of the balloon, Mel, and that balloon is expanding. Yes, and that's how it works.
And so you're not traveling anywhere. Everything's traveling away from you on that surface of that balloon.
You've
That's
got
the
to get
concept.
their model, Mel. If you understand their model,
We're in
then
Yep.
to go.
Too bad that's well, you're traveling, but we're talking relative motion here.
Here's an answer that will actually address his question, is when you utilize a starting point, how you describe the relationship between objects will be determined by the starting point that you use. So you could actually pick, for instance, the Earth as a starting point. And then when you start describing the relationships between the Earth and other objects, that relationship will be dependent upon that starting point, as compared to if you start with the sun, or the center of the Milky Way galaxy, or the great attractor. Is that clear?
No, you said we're on the balloon. How does that work?
No, Chemo, you said that. And that's not actually a correct analogy to describe the expansion of space in the ever-expanding universe.
So we're
Well,
inside the balloon,
with all due respect, before we were talking about subsolar points. So the relevance curved is the sun is hauling ass, dragging the Earth behind it and the solar system behind it. And that contradicts what is observed, because what is observed is the sun just cruises around the Earth.
Yeah, well,
so nothing to do. Conceptions of that are irrelevant.
Heads in a little bit.
You
and
see,
come back
that
down
conclusion
to
is actually
Completely
trying
irrelevant.
to conflate the reference of starting at the Earth and the reference of starting at the sun as one and the same, which is why you don't understand that and got that incorrect conclusion.
No, I understand it fine, and they contradict each other, because if the sun is hauling ass through the universe, which is what the claim is, it's dragging everything behind it.
So what?
No one can detect
Let's say that's true. It's not quite true, but let's say it is. So what?
No one can detect that, or no one.
It's irrelevant, Marl.
And that's not the observation. So the claim.
But Marl, it doesn't matter.
It definitely matters. If no one's observing it, the claim
doesn't
is
matter to this, Marl. It's irrelevant to this. You're going to tell me that there is no subsolar point because you can't figure things out?
Jeremy's trying to find the subsolar point.
I couldn't hear that with the
Jeremy's trying to find the speed.
Not hard to find. It's always there on the Earth.
So
moving
he's
around.
trying to find the
Predictable
speed.
rate and location.
Right.
There's no
Meanwhile,
mystery here,
the sun's
Marl.
traveling 500,000 miles an hour through the universe.
Marl, it doesn't matter. You can't project your ignorance onto the rest of the world. You're irrelevant right now. Get with the program.
Whose ignorance?
Geocentric or heliocentric, still got a subsolar point. So it doesn't matter.
Listen, can you
matter,
hear
it
the
doesn't matter, mate.
fucking silence in this room?
Doesn't matter, mate. If you've got a heliocentric or geocentric
Listen,
model,
I've brought
subsolar
this
points still
fucking
exist.
room to crickets right now. No one can meet
Marl,
me right now.
people are in disbelief at what's coming out of your mouth, Marl. They can't believe how dumb this argument is from you.
Have anything.
It's as
You
dumb
can't
as
even
fuck.
you can't even show a satellite, right?
Well,
and then
I'm not-
footage.
we
from the
don't need to give
satellite
in to your
of
games here.
Earth
You're trying to
traveling
lure
through the
us
universe,
into stupid
being
arguments
dragged
that
by
are
the sun.
irrelevant, Marl.
No, you guys are fucked.
Okay, we're fucked, Marl. You got it all figured out. The one who doesn't know anything and doesn't know where he is the one that's got it all figured out. Thank you, Marl. We'll follow you.
The most
Does
famous
the-
person in the room. You're welcome.
Does retrograde motion of the planets mean anything to you, Merle? Merle, does the
Christ, I
retrograde
just wish we
motion
could have
of the
a
planet,
decent conversation, Merle.
does retrograde motion
You can
of the planets
talk.
mean
You can
anything to
talk about fantasy all day long. That's all you guys do.
you? Does retrograde
Try
motion
to
of the
justify.
There's no
your-
fantasy with the subsolar point, Merle. You're
You
trying to
try to
act like it doesn't
justify-
exist or
Fantasy,
something
it's fallacy.
because you can't answer all
Try
these
to
other irrelevant
justify
questions.
your punked beliefs.
The subsolar point's not a belief.
Right. So come back to it then, and acknowledge
We
that
are.
it doesn't match reality.
It does.
reality?
What's unreal about the subsolar point? Do you even know what it is, Merle?
The observation is the sun circuits and tracks around the Earth.
You're fucked.
Okay, but
It's
the
not
subsolar
pulling
point
us
travels
through the
around the
universe.
surface of the Earth. That's a
Okay?
place on
It's
the Earth,
cruising around
Merle.
the Earth.
Whether the sun exists, whether it's just an apparent thing, any way you want to term it, it doesn't matter. The subsolar point is where it is and travels at the rate that it does.
Exactly.
Gives you distance, time, distance, speed. They're all related.
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
simple.
Day and night. Day and night. around the
Exactly.
Earth.
So you're fucked.
No.
How about that, Merle? You're fucked.
I'm not fucked. I'm not fucked.
I'm gonna squeeze your head with my intellect, Merle. I'm gonna crush your skull here on the internet.
You are a
You
pimple.
like that?
I still
Like
can't
that, Merle?
agree with that corn
Somebody
dog
beat you
on
to the
dude.
punch, Merle. Are you okay with that?
You are a
okay?
pimple.
You starting to get mad, dude?
You are a pimple on.
No, I'm not
pseudoscientific
getting mad. I'm
arse.
playing Merle's game the way Merle likes to play with us.
Well, someone got your attention, didn't they?
This guy's obviously drunk. I just wouldn't listen.
Merle is a clearinghouse for misinformation and misunderstandings and generally crazy shit. Right, Merle?
Get your sound bites in. You're sitting in the nude on Discord.
Merle, you've got a court order to stay away from my webcam. What are you doing?
Alright, there's no escape, guys. Still we have the science. Back up.
Anything to dismiss simple reality.
I don't know why you're getting so
Chemo.
worked up. Yes, Jeremy.
Chemo, you're just going to keep being silly, and the world is still going to turn. Things are still going to happen with or without you. But
Yeah,
you
but
can
not-
just be
not
silly
now.
if you want.
Yeah, but not now. In the future,
Well, look,
maybe. In the future.
Curbed. Sorry.
What I was going to say, not now, but in the future, maybe we'll see what you're talking about. But as it stands at the moment, we're here on the flat Earth together, figuring out the mess that NASA and the scientists have gotten us into.
Science for flat.
Yeah, but it seems like you guys
mess
argue
chemo.
about semantics more than you talk about solving issues. Like you guys are, it's weird. I mean, I get it. You guys are from like the flat Earth shit or whatever, but like put your head together for a second. Let's do something.
I don't know who you attacking, the flat earthers or the ball earthers.
Just this entire server. Well, a lot of the main people on this server, I think admins,
Well, what's
they
wrong with the
push
server?
like these narratives that everything is like has to be broken down to 400 fucking levels of ninth degrees and shit. And it's like, dude, just fucking get to the point. Let's move on. Let's get something done. I mean, do you like how much time do you think we really have? You know, let's fucking do something.
Again, who are you talking to, the ballers or the flat earthers?
The entire server.
Let's make a balloon. Let's make a balloon.
Yeah, but I mean, again, the flat Earth is not very difficult to understand. Okay? You just need a bit of science. Now, obviously, if the Earth is a globe, obviously, it needs a force, obviously. Now, if there's a force, obviously, we can demonstrate that obvious force. Right now, all we have is pieces of paper that say there is a force. Now, obviously, we're not going to accept somebody writing down something on a piece of paper and saying, hey, look, what I've done without the experiment, right? Obviously. Yes? Back on? Cassian? Back on?
Yes, I agree. I agree that things have to be broke down to a certain level to explain one thing. But I mean, at least clarify what you're trying to get to. Announce that to the server. I mean, I just came in here and you guys just sound like you guys are just bitching about nothing. You guys are fighting over some bullshit.
No,
I mean,
again,
Kurt does it all the time. Like he's drunk like 24/7 on his fucking server. But
well,
you know,
I hear what
from
you're
the rest of
saying.
you guys,
I hear
don't
what you're
understand.
saying. I hear what you're saying. But look, a lot of these guys are going through the emotions of losing the globe, right? So obviously, we are the closest thing to attack. We're almost like a punching bag, almost. And some of us obviously offer that, position for the guys to attack. But we know, obviously, it's just frustration, right? Because if obviously we were on a ball, flying in space, we wouldn't be talking right now, would we? Think about it. You'd be on Mars, chilling, relaxing, on a hotel on the moon or something. That's not a reality that we know is true. Right?
Yeah, we can't pass the radiation belt. They've told us this. We cannot. Humans cannot pass the radiation belt. We die.
Right.
Nobody says that. Nobody says that.
NASA said it. NASA said it. Yes, look the shit up, dude. They
Yeah,
literally
they didn't
talked
say
about
that
how they
humans can't pass through it
they
or
lost
die.
the technology to send people back to the moon.
Yeah,
This is
we
what
also
they
we
said.
lost the
That's
technology to
like-
make Model Ts
that's
as
why
well.
people
You know
have
that,
this-
right?
This thing about the secret Mars or the secret fucking moon base that exists. It doesn't fucking exist.
You know, we lost the technology. We lost the technology to make like 1986 Cadillacs too. You know that, right? Like we'd have to retool, re-dye if we wanted to make up. Huge task to start remaking 1986 Cadillacs. That's what they mean by that. All the tooling is gone. Most of the people that had the experience building them are retired or dead.
Why don't we do another a moon mission? Why don't we go to moon and fucking
That's what the Artemis project is all about. That's what SLS is all about.
They're working on
When are they going to do it? How much
European-
fucking money do they need to do that shit?
Yeah, they've been
There's
lying
at least
about
They
it.
need a lot less money than they needed in the 70s, which is
year.
in the 60s, which is why it's taking so long.
No, they keep pushing it back because they can't.
No, I
do it.
kind
They
of
will
understand
figure it
that.
out.
I kind of understand that, but
working on going to the moon. There's at least 4 countries working on going to the moon right now.
no,
They
you have
always say
drones that are trying to fucking planetize the Mars. Yeah, that's what they're doing, dude. Like, but we're not going to go there. No fucking way they send people out there. Well, I mean, maybe like a crew of like 7, and
You
it'd
flat
be a death
earthers are
mission.
not, but I
But like,
guarantee you that other people will.
there ain't gonna be a colony going to fucking the Mars right now. Like, you know how much time that's gonna take?
You know, for Apollo, they spent the equivalent of $1/3 trillion in 2021 dollars. Okay, NASA does not have a budget like that anymore.
I don't know, dude. For one, we need to stop wasting resources, which we've been doing for a long time now. We waste these resources. We throw everything in these fucking piles of trash that never get recycled, and we fucking wonder why. Oh, why does everything cost so much?
Yeah, but that's
because you're fucking wasting.
Should we go back to the moon or not?
Dakian, that's not going to prove the globe,
Yeah, I
is
think
it, right?
I think we should go back to the moon. Why not, dude?
When you're bitching about wasting resources,
Dakian,
and
that's
now
not
you
gonna
want us to
prove
go back to the
globe, though,
moon
is
for
it?
what?
Is that
That's
gonna...
true. I don't know the base materials on the moon, but if there's like any resources, maybe we can claim those.
That's and it's hard to discuss with you at the minute. What's your position? Do you not know what the shape of the Earth is? Is it a ball? Is it flat? What's your position?
I don't care, dude. I've been raised that it was round. It's a globe. I'm fucking living that life. I don't know what reality you guys are in. I know perspective is a huge thing. If somebody could be sitting there talking to people on Discord in their head,
So
but
listen,
in reality they could be in the fucking
you
corner
talk,
of the room.
you're just
in the
moaning
psych
about the
unit fucking
room, and
talking
it's
to
you who are causing the problem.
Nobody fucking knows. Perspective is so fucking.
You were just
wide.
moaning
You
about the
can live in a
room.
flat Earth.
You were just
Sure.
moaning about
Whatever, I
the
don't
people in
give
the. You were just moaning
But
about
now,
the people.
what are we going to do past flat Earth?
Dacian,
Can we talk about like
you were just moaning
global
about the people in
change?
the room, and now you are acting wilding out.
Oh, but it would be called flat change. I would have to change how I speak to relate to the flat earthers, right?
No, I'm asking why are you wilding out? What's wrong with you?
Dakion, would you like to have a
Oh, is it
discussion
Dacian?
about the
Dacian. Sorry, I didn't know how to
wasting of
pronounce
money?
it. Dacian. So look.
Yeah, we can talk about wasting money and resources.
Yeah, but how's that going to prove the globe?
Okay.
You just said you were told it's a globe.
Hello.
It's an old meme, dude. Stop.
Well, hold on. You just said you were told it's a globe, and that's the part of the problem, is that you just believe something you were told with no evidence. That's the point. Everyone
No,
here.
there was quote unquote evidence, unless everything is doctored since like the 60s, then yeah, I think I have proof. You're gonna say it's doctored, just like everything's a conspiracy theory.
No, I'm going to ask you, how can you verify it? You're going to say you can't. So we're going to say it's a belief. So therefore, it's just a belief, right? And that's part of the problem, is that you just believe something.
It would not matter to you what he said. You would always say, well, that's a belief, and try to reduce it down, and then find a belief statement in there, so that you could come back to say the same bullshit you just said.
Well, but
You're not interested in truth. You're not interested in science. You're not interested in truth. You're interested in, just as he said earlier, playing a game with words until you can bring it back to your preconceived notion.
No, I'm trying to understand. How do I pronounce your name? Sorry.
No, you're not.
Dakion.
You're not trying to understand him at all. You're trying
conversation. You're trying to go derail, dude. Like I don't. Why?
Because
That's how it works, Dakion.
Because we're
That's how
trying to
it
focus, Dakion, on the most important subject, which is the globe light. We've been lied to about the shape of the Earth. You're saying, well, no, I've been told it's a globe, so I'm saying, okay, fine. What do you have?
No, dude, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Perspective is so wide. You could live in a reality that the Earth is flat. That's fine. I don't care, dude. But let's like solve some of the problems on this flat Earth, dude. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you?
No. Because these guys here do not know what the shape of the Earth is. They need to know where they live first.
When are you ever going to make a prediction of any kind on your silly flat Earth?
Once they know the shape of the Earth, what you're talking about, Dakion, can be addressed, can't it?
I want you to address something. When is God going to come out with another fucking DLC pack, bro? I've been waiting for that map pack for like fucking 25 years.
Well, we are in the days of Noah, and the updates will be arriving shortly, yeah, for sure. Knowledge is increasing. That's an update. We now understand it's not a globe. Before we were disillusioned and indoctrinated. So that's some of us have had the update, Dakion. Maybe you're still waiting for the update. Yeah?
Yeah, maybe that's
what I'm saying. Yeah. So you're what we call, you are an old program, okay? And your information is not helping anybody. So you just dreaming and imagining about what this, that, and the other is not going to help anybody. Whereas the guys who have evolved, as it were, or had the update, as it were, we can obviously guide you to what is and what isn't, especially when it comes to science, right?
What he needs to do, Chemo, is he needs to go up in his head and go scroll over up to settings, about, check for updates. Just go in there in your head.
Right. Absolutely.
If you would like, Jackie, I do have a useful explanation to.
What shall we do while we're waiting for you?
Well, obviously
we do while we're waiting.
We can just let you guys know there is an update available. Download it.
Now, what do we do? So we just stop the entire multi-billion-dollar space industry while we wait for you?
Yeah, shut it down. It's not any use for anybody, is it?
Well, it's useful to us, but we need to. We can't just wait for you to bring us up. We need to at least use what we've got.
Anyway, look, Jeremy's here now, so I don't want to hog the mic too much. Jeremy, you wanna take?
Hey, what's up? It's my man Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy, you here? Oh, SE is here also, I think.
Hey, what's up, SE?
SE is here too.
What's up? I can't really talk right now.
Jeremy can't.
Come on, SE, let's hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You are living in a delusion.
Great.
Well, I'm basically listening. I'm enjoying chemo this
I cannot
morning.
believe you double-speaking morons have the nerve to think that you know more than me, who knows everything.
Hey, come on now.
Well, you see, I don't even have to speak.
Hey, SE, for the record, we got nothing but love for you, buddy.
SE's greatest hits.
Thank you. I feel cuddly all over. Thank you.
Was that a soundboard someone was using before, or is that someone live? That sounded like a soundboard.
Well, last night one of these British guys was doing Brian Mabbott, and he was so good. I literally thought that it was a soundboard. People were like, "Is that a soundboard?" It sounded exactly like him.
I can do SE pretty well. I can do Lemon okay, and unfortunately, I do Joby pretty well too.
Essie, have you heard anything interesting from the Globe Earthers this morning pertaining to the shape of the Earth that has made you consider or reconsider your position of flat Earth at the moment, Essie?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
I don't think so, Chemo. No, I haven't heard anything convincing. No, all I heard is the sub-solar points and this and that you guys talking about. Yeah, and the pressure thing. That was interesting, but nothing. No, nothing.
Well, that's what
What are your thoughts on Jeremy's subsolar point measurement?
Oh, I have no thoughts on that. I haven't processed that information yet.
Has anybody taken geography?
Yeah.
You have to geography.
Some have, I think, but not. I haven't.
I've learned Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses.
That was nice bars.
Yeah, bars, bro.
But Dakion, again, you know, the number one conspiracy or problem or topic is flat Earth. Is the lie of the
No,
globe.
it's not. It's a fucking meme, dude. This is like, if you guys are taking this seriously, it's a fucking meme. It's like a joke. It's the fact that you can convince anybody of anything. And this is the example is flat Earth. You guys are falling victim to a fucking lie. Just like move on with life, dude. Like it's a globe. It's a fucking globe. You haven't been lied to your entire life.
Hey, came out. Are birds real?
Birds?
Came out. Are birds real?
Birds like tweet birds.
Yeah.
Yes.
You idiot! Chemo thinks birds are real. Chemo thinks birds are real. Do you hear that, folks? What a fucking moron! You know, birds aren't real. They were replaced by the CIA in the starting in the 60s.
What, like eagles and
They're
pigeons?
robotoid birds.
Robin redbreasts. What do you mean?
Yeah, they're all
The
now
bluebirds, the
surveillance
hummingbirds.
drones. I'm surprised you didn't know this, Chemo. They're all surveillance drones now.
I knew
There's
that.
no such thing as real birds.
And then you start losing yourself. And then you go down.
Dude, those surveillance drones ate all my goddamn grass seed. I spent $50 on grass seed, and those surveillance drones ate it all.
There's probably fake birds. They probably exist. True. But doesn't mean all birds are fake.
Why do you think they sit on the
I
power
want
lines?
statistics on that. Please.
The person that saw that ate
How many
there,
birds
did you
have you
actually
cut up? Because I've cut up a few.
Did you actually see them eat it, or did the CIA come in and take it during the night? You didn't actually see them. Did you see them with your own eyes eating the bird seed? I bet you didn't.
No, I did. I watched them, dude. And then they would go over to the power outlet and plug in to recharge, and they go back out there and eat more seed. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, you got those. You got that model. Yeah. You're probably.
I was like, stop stealing my electricity!
You're the CIA shill. Yep. Yep. But yeah, so Chemo is such a moron. He thinks birds are real.
Yeah, man, they're delicious too. Actually.
Yeah, that's plant based.
Quantum Erase, that's the movie Birdemic, which you should have watched.
Any meat that's sold you as bird meat is actually plant based.
Well, that's actually true in the case of Taco Bell, right?
And they've got vaccines.
They were saying that the meat is actually all like soy based.
Yeah.
So, you know, we like to keep it going, and you know, we have to give you the.
You heard about CRISPR, right?
We have to give you the daily reminders that you know, some of you don't care about whether you've been lied to, but there are some out there who actually care about.
You don't. You've been lied to about the birds, do you?
CRISPR
you're still for big bird.
Guys.
No, because obviously whoever created the birds created the Earth, created the universe.
Whatever fucking based meat it is, that CRISPR has been able to genetically modify DNA. Now they can do this. They've been able to do this for like 5 years now. It's been a big conversation.
Dakion,
what?
does he not hear me or something?
No, I'm talking right now.
I know, but we're kind of talking about the shape of the Earth and stuff.
No, you're talking about the shape of the Earth. We're talking about fucking birds, dude.
This
Get the fuck out of here.
I know.
This
yeah.
is debate for and other things.
No, don't mute
We're
him.
doing the,
Don't mute him.
doing the
Don't
other
mute
things
him.
right
I
now.
didn't mute you, by the way, Dakion. Don't mute him. If you can mute him, please. He's learning. He's discovering.
I'm talking about.
Oh,
I'm
look,
talking
he's
about the other
getting
thing.
muted. That's so unfair. Who did that?
It's flat Earth and more. This is a more topic. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
From the more.
again, that's fine. But, like, obviously, there's kind of flat Earth is about, right? If there are flat Earth is about and globe is about, then what does that mean? It means, obviously, we're trying to discuss what is reality. Yeah.
It means that a
And,
large percentage of people have the IQ of ants.
come on, unmute Dacio. Look, he's going crazy. Look here. Look, he's going in and out, in and out, in and out.
Chemo, you know what they've been struggling with the past while?
They're so mean to you, ballers, and you all blame me for muting you. I'm all about the free speech. Sorry, Essie, go on.
No, I was just wondering if you know, because they've been struggling with straight lines lately.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, that's another problem. That is Jeremy still here?
SE, do you think birds are real?
Look, Dakion's going nuts again. Look, he's going in.
Birds
and
are
out.
real, yeah.
All right.
You believe birds are real as well?
All right, hold on. Let's bring him back.
I can't believe it. You fucking moron. Thinking birds are real.
Okay, you're back in the fold, Dakion. Now, again,
Do
obviously...
you think a straight line curves?
Oh, yeah, here's SE.
Ask him that, Chemo. You want to laugh? Ask him.
No, go for it.
I wish I had more
Go
time.
for it, yeah. Dakion, are you back?
I heard you guys have problems with binary numbers. Flat
Did you notice the silence, Chemo, when I asked that question? Did you notice the silence?
I did. But I think they're about to answer it, though.
So, do you think
Here we go.
that a straight line in a two-dimensional aspect can curve in a three-dimensional or four-dimensional aspect?
What?
See how they answered a question with a
Oh,
question?
no, we're just talking about the straight line. How about?
In what kind of geometry, right? In numbers, we have like, decimal, base 10, then we have binary, right? So if I tell you 101, that could be 101, or it could be, I think, I forget the other one.
10 and
4,
1.
I don't know. Right, and what's 101 in binary?
Could be 11.
You might know.
Hear what you're saying? Okay.
11, is that right?
So,
No,
anyway, are we talking?
We're just saying what is.
Are we talking about a straight line, or are we talking about a level? Are we talking level, or are we talking straight?
Just like a straight line that doesn't curve.
Well, then you've just answered your question. Yeah, straight line doesn't curve.
There you go.
No
Essie.
fucking shit.
There you go, Essie. Straight line doesn't curve.
But a level line. But a level line does curve.
No,
a
but
level line does curve.
But you hear that? You hear that, Chemo?
A level line does curve, as documented in that surveying page out of a surveyor's book from 1915.
Okay.
So chemo 101 is actually 5 in binary.
No, I know. But you were going, it could be 10 and 1 or something like this.
Well, like I said, you ask about a straight line. I ask what system, right? Just like in numbers, we have a binary system. We also have a decimal system. So in order to talk about numbers or in order to talk about straight lines, you first need to ask the question.
You have to find the source. You have to find source.
What's the system?
You have to find source to talk about straight line or level lines, true level lines.
So when does level start curving? When does a level
gravity,
line start curving?
Gravity.
It's all the time. Level lines are always
How
curving.
far out can you extend a level line before it starts curving?
It's always curving.
Is it only local?
It's always
Is
curving.
level only local?
It's always curving, SE.
Well, actually,
It's
that's
always
going to
curved.
depend on what you mean by a level line, Essie. Are you referring to Are you referring to a straight line that is level to a certain point, or are you referring to a line that is level at all points?
Yeah, like is it level to the
No,
universe
straight
or
line.
to
A
the planet?
straight line. What's a straight line?
Well, a straight line is a
extends
straight line is a
indefinitely,
straight
no?
line. Are you referring to a straight line that is only level in
Theoretically,
that creates a
I mean, in
that creates
reality,
a,
no.
Are you referring to a horizontal plane that is in relation to a single point, or are you referring to a line that is level at all points? Which one are you referring to?
Yeah.
Well, which one do you prefer? Because the way I see it, level is level. You can't curve it. When you look at the horizon, is it level or is it curved?
The horizon
It's
is neither
curved.
level or the horizon is not.
The
level,
horizon
I
is
don't know what
not
you mean.
level.
What do you mean?
Well,
by
you
The
that?
horizon can be level. That's false. It can be. The horizon can actually be level, and almost look like appear to fall, but it can curve at the other end, at the other point that it's that's tipping at, like because it could be a mountain or a range or a fucking like a valley on the other end. All these things, it's possible. It's true.
It's a
What you
malformed
see
But
question.
what
is
would
the
that
illusion.
line be level against? Because you need a reference to determine if something's level.
Like,
Yeah,
would it be
it's
level
Water.
against
Water.
the center of the Earth, or
it's
Water.
an incomplete question, is what it is.
yeah, like if something is
Go ahead,
level, it
ask
needs to be
about
level
water.
with reference to something else. You can't just say it's level.
Gravity.
It's level with reference to what? What point? A single point or
What's your
points
question
along
about
that
water?
line?
Gravity.
Well, how does a water level work?
Gravity.
Water's level when you compare maybe two ends, like maybe if you measuring water from if you have water on your horizon and you want to measure from one side to the other side, so you would see if it's level against each other, or you would see all the points on that line of water level to
Gravity. If you've ever
a
noticed,
central point.
fucking
Maybe
water isn't
you
flat in the ocean.
you
It's
need
fucking always
a
moving.
reference to determine
It's
if something's
gravity.
level.
It's mass. That's what it is. Mass, guys.
So
Size.
So when you look out at the
What a water
horizon,
level
Other
so what a
particles
water
will
level
attach
does.
to a bigger particle. They will fucking rotate around it. This is what happens in science. You break it down. This is what happens on a molecular fucking level, dude. Like, it's gravity, it's mass, the ductivity of two sizes. It's everything is. And what I'm saying, when you're talking about lines being straight, you will never be able to find that true straightness because you're on a linear path already. I mean, maybe there'll be one moment where everything lines up and will be connected again to that level, that true levelness, but we aren't there right now. And you know what I mean? Like, you won't be able to find that.
What?
So we have different levels.
Because it's level to the universe, or there's level to the planet. And if you say level to the planet, then that's gravity. That's all it is.
All right, so
Okay,
SC,
so let me ask
water
you a
level.
question now.
So,
You would have to dig a
answer
straight tunnel
God
into the
damn it! I
fucking
guess I'll
ground.
never answer that question.
Yo,
that was
yeah,
asked
hang
to
on,
me.
man.
SC,
Brian's
I'm
trying
sorry.
to say something.
Sorry, go ahead.
The question was asked to me, and you've been just going over the top to answer with shit that's irrelevant. I'm done with the
No, it don't
situation.
matter.
Y'all have the fuck out.
Okay, let me ask you guys a final question because I know this is stressing you out, and I'll give up the floor. Let's say now we have a 3 mile stretch of water, right? It's calm. There's no winds, right? And I'm on one side of that 3 mile stretch on a boat, and you're on the other side, right? And we're eyeballing each other. What do we witness? What do we see? How does that water behave? Do we see a curve, a hump? What happens there?
Well, you can
How
see
long is it?
3 miles.
3 miles.
We'll see each other below eye level.
How tall are we? Are we the same height?
You're in a little
SC?
dinghy. You're in a little rowboat, let's say.
Okay, but you're assuming both of us are 6 feet, right?
Yeah.
I think I would see you, but a part of you would be covered by
Yeah, this is
by
right on the
water.
limit
Like
of the
I wouldn't see your feet or something,
No,
Each
just
one
the
will
level,
be
you
a
wouldn't be
6
able to
foot
see each
observer.
other.
So you would see like a hump of water between you, like that,
no hump.
blocking the water.
Some of you would be covered, definitely.
You wouldn't see each other.
Not at 3 miles.
No, could we change it to you're both swimming and your eyes?
Yeah,
are
at 3
facing
miles,
above the
6
water?
feet, some of you would be covered, but I would see you.
So, but some of me would be covered
Back down, Nate.
due to the hump of water, correct?
Sorry, Kurt.
There's no hump.
Yeah, what is
to the
this hump?
horizon.
Earth's
To the
level
horizon.
Is that what you envision?
I
That's what we
envision some
observed.
of you being covered, but not due to a hump or whatever it is you.
This sort of thing is observed all the time, SE. So yeah.
So that's
Yeah, I
what
used
you're
to
saying.
go.
Okay.
I used to go swimming as a lifeguard. I used to swim a mile out and a mile back. And once I was a mile out, I couldn't see basically the edge of the shoreline, the beginning of the shoreline where our table was. It might have been a little bit more than a mile, maybe a mile.
So you subscribe to the hump model, not the drop model, then.
Not really.
Subscribe to the
because
sphere model.
Yeah, utilizing the term hump is not correct. It's actually
Yeah.
utilizing the characteristics of a spheroid.
From your point of view, you're on top of a sphere. So all points are dropping away from you. There's no hump.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
Like I'm basically looking down at you while you're looking down at me, but you know.
Isn't it amusing that SE?
Yeah, but
Isn't
you see
it-
the contradiction there?
Isn't it amusing how SC pretends he's never heard this before? Because, interesting. He pretends he's not heard it before to make some sort of rhetorical point.
Yeah, but hold on. You just said
dinners
two
up there.
different things. One guy said you're both looking down at each other, right?
Yes.
And then the other guy
Which is the
said
same
there's
thing
a
the
hump
other
in
guy
between.
said.
So is it a
He
hump
never said
or
there's
is
a
it a
hump. No one
drop?
said there's a hump.
He didn't say there was a hump. There isn't a hump. From each viewer's perspective, each viewer is looking down at the other one because from each viewer's point of view, they're standing on top of a sphere, looking down.
Yeah.
So they're looking down at each other, but they're not seeing part of them. Is that
Well,
how it
at
works?
3 miles, I think you'll still pretty much see everything. It's when you go past 3 miles that things start to drop over that curve. So if
Yeah.
you're both 6 foot tall at 3 miles, you're going to see each other. If you move further apart, you're going to start disappearing from the bottom up, from each other's point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like I said, to make it really interesting, just get eye level down at the water surface, and things can disappear at a mile.
Yeah. Well, say at
2
eye level,
miles.
you're not going to see 3 miles, are you? You're not going to see anything at that level at 3 miles. You'll only see something that's tall.
Unless
Yeah.
it's a rendering issue. If it's a rendering issue, then everything's fucked.
What do you
Yeah.
mean about rendering issue? We're talking about
Have you ever like drove on a street, like a road, and it's like tarred up, and like it like looks like it's clear in front of you, and then you get to it, and it's like loads? Have you ever noticed that? I know they say it's the light and the reflection, but it's kind of weird, you know?
No, that's refraction.
Yeah, it was a joke. It was a joke. Don't worry about it.
Have you taken any red pills lately?
5.
Okay, just checking. Things check out. You're good. Take 2 more and then that.
Yeah, right. Actually, I gotta head out, guys. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you,
Just
Jack.
remember,
It was nice meeting
the
you.
Earth is perceived by the general public as being round.
Think of the think of the 2 boat thought experiment we were just thinking about.
Oh no. But I mean, it's a belief, like he told us. So I mean,
not a belief.
that's as far as we can take it.
Observation.
The problem here is SE's misunderstanding. That's it.
Yep.
Well, and I think it's pretty simple. Radius, we found out where the horizon is. Move on from.
That's not the only thing that's a factor, Chemo, so quit representing it like that. You know what you're doing.
Shouldn't take this many months and years to figure this out, right?
No,
It shouldn't take you so long to quit lying, Chemo.
Yeah.
Again, the radius.
Right.
If the Earth is what they say, then obviously
The radius is not the only factor, Chemo.
And the radius has been measured.
Well, if that's the case, then we have a geometrical physical location measured.
We do. Well done.
Go ahead, measure it. That doesn't make it the apparent horizon.
No, that makes where the Earth starts to drop away for that.
So what? Refraction.
No.
How many times do we have to go through this dance?
Refraction or not.
You lose every time, Chemo. You're wrong.
Refraction.
You know it.
Refraction or not, physical Earth should drop away from that observer at that distance. Physical Earth.
No. Wait.
What?
You're
No.
conflating things here.
No.
You're trying
the
to use
physical,
confusing
actual
terms.
Earth, regardless
You drop
of
away,
atmosphere.
you don't even understand.
Regardless
You still don't know
of-
up and down.
Regardless
So this
of
is virtually
atmosphere.
impossible to converse with you.
Regardless of atmosphere, the Earth, the physical Earth, should drop away at a given distance, at a given height, regardless
Yeah.
of any atmosphere. So the Earth does not.
What it
fall-
does and what you see are two slightly different things, and
The
that
Earth
varies.
curves. The Earth curves. It's as simple as that. It's been measured. We see it. That's what it does.
That's what the model says. That the
No,
radius-
that's what reality.
Why are you
says.
trying to take
And
heat away
you
from
can
SE?
I'm not. Come back in, Essie.
SE's confused on something. He doesn't get it. He's all messed up on the boats.
SC is not confused. SC gave you a simple thought experiment. And you guys are double, triple speaking.
No, we're not.
No, you don't understand the terminology.
I mean, SE is what we observe not congruent with the Earth being a sphere, right? As ships move away from you, and you're on the shore, they look like they're sinking, right? That's exactly what we would expect to see if the Earth were indeed a sphere.
Yep.
Correct?
Hmm.
Can you at least admit that? That's exactly what we would see if the Earth is a sphere.
Negative. No,
Talking
that's
to me
not.
or SE? Oh, SE.
That doesn't equate to that. No, but my thought experiment was something different. If what you say is true,
it's exactly the
then
same. We're
certain
talking about
things should have.
So I've got
what should happen.
Hold on. So I've got a camera here, and I've got a medicine ball. You want me to go live and show you that as you move away from the camera lens, the boat will look like it's sinking? Like this is like 1 + 1 = 2, right? If you can't even admit that's in fact what we would observe, then there's no way we can have an honest conversation here.
You can't have
right?
What do you think it would look like, SE, if it was a sphere? What would it look like as a ship went away from you?
That's not the question. You're diverting from the question.
What it would look like,
we have already. Yeah.
What it would look like is that the ship would disappear at the same physical horizon every single time. So it would drop down the physical Earth, the same place every single time. But that boat would disappear at 1 mile. It would disappear at 10 miles. It can disappear at 5 miles.
What?
So it can disappear bottom first.
Yeah.
It can disappear bottom first at 1 mile. It can disappear bottom first at 10 miles. It can disappear bottom first at 5 miles.
No. You're talking shit again.
That's what we don't expect to see on a globe, but that's what we see in reality.
No, it's not what we see. Boats don't disappear a mile out.
Yes, if you're 1 foot,
No, they don't.
if you're a 1 foot observer, the bottom of the boat should disappear at 1.22 miles away.
What if you're 6 foot tall?
No, if you're a 1 foot observer.
No. Who amongst us is a 1 foot observer? Let's be realistic here. You're stood on the sand in the surf. You're 6 foot tall. At what point does that boat start to disappear?
Should at 3 miles away.
And that's what we find.
No.
As it goes past 3 miles,
you don't know that. No.
More and more of the bottom disappears. That's what happens.
No, again, you've never.
It does.
Try sticking with what Chemo said. How far away at 1 foot does it disappear?
1.22 miles away. Now, you've never measured the boat.
Okay, that directly negates what you just previously stated, that it disappears at 1 mile.
Yeah, 1.2 miles away. We know that. I'm just breaking it down quickly, condensed. You want to go through the entire argument. You should know it by now.
It doesn't disappear at 1.22 miles.
That's where the Earth. That's where. Yes.
Start to disappear.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, you have to say it right. You can't say it disappears at 1.22 miles. It starts to disappear at 1.22 miles.
So the bottom of the boat will start to disappear. So you should have a physical obstruction in the real world at 1.22 miles away. Now
we have that.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We have the horizon moving all the way back 10 miles, and that's where your disappearing at the bottom starts. Disappearing bottom first.
No.
Aha.
No.
Busted. That's why.
Of extreme refraction. I know where you're going with this.
Exactly. That's how powerful the black swan is.
Thank you. Yeah. You're too fucking predictable.
Got to the black swan. Yeah.
Yes,
hey, Chemo.
The black swan.
That's where
Chemo,
going, the black swan.
Hey, Chemo. Does science have to be reproducible?
Repeatable. Yes, of course.
Repeatable. And does science have to have a variable you change?
An independent variable that you manipulate.
Independent variable. So in the black swan, how much repetition was done in that black swan observation, and how much changes of the independent variable were changed?
Well, this has been done many times.
Well, show us. Show us all the other data which shows the same observation, just that's in the famous black swan one.
What things?
Because I know for an absolute fact that there's one that doesn't show the effect of the that you're talking about. I've seen it. It comes from the same video that black swan footage is taken from. The exact same video. So it's not repeatable. Your black swan observation is not repeatable. Therefore, it's not science. So get the fuck out of here with it.
You got.
So look, listen up.
GTFO.
Listen up.
Get the fuck out of here with the black swan.
I was just waiting for him to finish, guys. That doesn't mean you guys can jump in. I was just waiting for him to finish his point, and then I'm going to respond to him.
Good.
So you finished, TT guy? Or not yet?
Good.
I mean, feel free to continue if you have more to say. You know.
You notice how they squirted away from the both thought experiment, Chemo?
No,
really quick.
We properly explained it, SE. Sorry.
The two-bite experiment is nothing different from a man on the beach experiment looking at a boat.
Hang on.
No difference.
We didn't square away. Chemo did.
No, I didn't. I was
Chemo
trying to
took it away
address the
from that
point.
SE.
I was waiting for TT Guy to finish.
Chemo took it away from that.
No, I didn't even say a word. I was waiting for TT Guy to finish.
It's not about TT Guy. You took it away from SE before that because you jumped into Rodeo Clown for SE before he got stepped on by the fucking bulls.
No, because SE
No,
was
you
asked.
guys brought it to the difference. So you guys switched it, not Chemo.
Right.
Chemo took it away from what you were talking
No,
about.
I didn't. You asked him a question, and I explained.
I tried to. I can't talk to you about it, SE.
So
It's
tell
constantly
us, when
diverted.
does your horizon from level start to curve? Go.
If we're talking about level surface, like level to the surface of the Earth, it starts everywhere. As soon as you move off, the level is curving away.
Right.
You know, sometimes you want to know why you're muted, TT Guy.
Experiment.
Why is he muted?
Back to
What's he
my-
done wrong?
See,
No,
they
I'm just
don't
saying,
realize what
when he
they're
gets
saying.
when he
They
gets
don't realize.
muted and he doesn't know why, there's a good chance that it's because he's just talking too much.
SE, I can't help but think you know the answer to that question.
No, I'm just
He's been
asking
told
a
enough
question
times.
and hearing you guys double speak. Because
You
I
don't-
know
you-
that water
Anything
is
that goes against what
completely.
SE ascertains is doublespeak.
I'll let you guys
So-
think about it for a while.
Well,
I
hold
know
on,
you
SE.
think
Curve
about it.
SE,
wants
what
to.
was your question?
SE, Curve wants to carry on with something, so let's carry on with that something that he's on about.
Sure, go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Neil. Where's my beach? Hey, SE.
That's not going to happen here, Chemo. You know it.
Yo, what was
Hey,
SE's
Chihuahua,
question
what's
again?
going on?
You said you were going to quit doing that, SE. You agreed it was like racist, didn't you? And that you weren't going to
just
do that
No,
anymore.
called him a bitch.
No,
he came
I
in
did
and called
not.
him a
No.
bitch. What do you want?
There's
He
nothing
came in and called me
racist.
a bitch, the little
SE
Chihuahua.
is a bitch. That's
Yeah.
not racist.
It's debatable.
Yo, what's up,
Listen,
Jeremy?
Wait, who's
Jose,
the
you got to
bitch?
get some new guys for your show, bro. Those Glovers you got are fucking terrible. They're just sitting there in dead air, not talking. Do they know you're recording a live show or what?
Of course we do.
Jose's desperate. That's what he's doing here. He's trying to
And then we
recruit.
get
I
retards
mean,
like you come along.
anybody that talks too much, Curved is just gonna insult them and shout them down.
Yeah.
I'll go talk on Jose's show to a flat earther who believes in the Black Swan. If any flat earther wants to go there and talk.
What about the Black Swan? You think that can be debunked? Seriously?
Yeah.
Snack, say something.
What?
It doesn't matter.
Go ahead, 50.
Go ahead, what?
I thought you were saying something about you can debunk the Black Swan.
Well, I mean, it's not really debunking the Black Swan. It's just so you saw what I posted, right, Kimo?
I looked at it, yeah, but I mean, what does this meaning of this?
Well, so that's basically Quantum Eraser was my co-author, and I basically took his modus tollens argument they love so much, and I formulated it in a way using a known science. To prove that there isn't a dome.
Yo, you cut
I don't know
out
if you
there,
cut
bro.
out just then. Is that me? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
say it again.
I'm sorry. So what I did was I used Quantum Eraser's modus tollens argument, basically in the exact format he did it, with all his little fuckery, and I reformulated it using a known scientific law to prove that there isn't a dome.
Yeah, but I don't argue for a dome. But go on.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you don't argue for a dome, it really doesn't matter. But most flat earthers do. But so if you believe in a dome and you believe in the Black Swan, you either have to accept both or reject both. If you're intellectually
Go on,
honest.
what's the argument for the dome then? Jeremy believes in the
He doesn't
container.
argue for a game, he just argues for a container.
No, there is no container. Jeremy thinks it's a container, so tell Jeremy. the
Oh,
argument.
definitely.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Definitely a container. I wouldn't say dome though. See, dome's a stretch. I would say container. Walls.
Well, that's just word games.
So,
I mean, that's
No,
just
it's not
semantics.
word games.
walls
Talking about-
made of what, Jeremy? And what are the
Now-
dimensions
No, forget
of these
that.
walls?
Forget
Is it like
that. Forget that. No.
Yeah, what's the shape of it?
No,
what
forget
are
that. Stop
what are its
derailing.
dimensions,
No,
Jeremy?
Stop.
Yo,
Nate.
Kimo, we're asking Jeremy. Come on, man.
Nate.
Jeremy believes there's a dome,
Nate.
so we're trying to figure out
Stop
what
I didn't
doing
say dome. No, I'm not a dome person.
We're not talking about
Okay.
whether he believes it or not. We want to go into 50s debunking of it. What is it? Explain it so we know. Jeremy knows it.
Flat container, Jeremy?
It's just the modus tollens using a known gas law, right? If temperature changes, then pressure changes.
Yeah.
And I use that known law to prove that on Earth, when the temperature changes, the pressure doesn't necessarily follow. So that means it can't be contained.
Jeremy.
No, not that one. That one's good. That one's good. The other one.
What?
Yeah, and that's that's my original work. And my dick's also 12 inches as well. I'm gonna throw that in there too. But that was pretty easy to formulate. So I mean,
So say it again. Say it again.
Say the thing again. Okay,
Yeah,
I
say
use
it
a
about
known
the
law.
colon, yeah.
Well, it's right there.
No, give him the if P then Q. If P what? If what then
Okay.
what?
Okay. So this is how it's formulated. It doesn't have to have the Earth is flat in here, but this is how I wrote it. Okay, if the Earth is flat with the dome,
P.
He cut out.
You're cutting out 50.
if the Earth is flat with the dome
P.
to contain the atmosphere,
P.
yes.
Is that P?
Then yes. If the Earth is flat with the dome to contain the atmosphere, P, then every pressure measurement must conform to Gay-Lussac's law, which states if temperature increases, pressure must also increase. Q. Not Q, therefore not P. And I've got my thing there that shows you on 8/5/2020 at 7:53, the temperature was measured to be 92 degrees, and the pressure was measured to be 992.9 millibars. And on 6/8/2020, at 5:53, the temperature was measured to be 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and the pressure was measured.
Cutting out, but we get what you're saying. Jeremy, how are you going to respond to that?
Yeah.
You gotta look at it. Look at it in chat.
Does this have to do with the? Does it have to do with the air not going up?
Can you hear me?
No, it has to do with the fact that in the contained system, if you increase the temperature, the pressure increases. If you decrease the temperature, the pressure decreases. There's a relationship in a contained system between temperature and pressure. And that relationship is not present on Earth, in our atmosphere.
So your whole argument requires a dome. You got to find a dome Earth for this.
Contained.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
No.
David.
It's contained. It requires a container, Jeremy.
Yeah, a dome, a top with a top, right?
Yeah.
Or a wall. The
Yeah,
walls,
so you got to
Jeremy.
find a dome. You got to find a dome Earther for this one.
So you're a wall earther? You're a wall earther.
Yeah, Jeremy, explain this wall, bro. Like, I've never heard of this
Yeah, if
before.
you don't have container walls, how are you going to keep the gas in?
Yeah, but explain the dimensions of the wall. Like, how does it cover the flat Earth? Is it like a cube over the Earth, or what?
Goes around it. You got to have it around. Otherwise, the gas wants to go sideways, and it would just.
So when you
gotta
say
keep the
around,
gas
you
in.
mean it goes over the edges of the flat Earth as well?
The sides.
Over the
Cylindrical.
sides, all the way,
You know
all the
what
way to
walls
the
are?
bottom and around.
Do you know what walls are?
Cylindrical.
I understand, Jeremy, but does the flat Earth stretch beyond this wall, or does this wall cover,
We
like
know
encompass,
that in order to
encase?
have gas pressure. We know that in order to have gas pressure, you need container walls.
Sure.
So the whole flat Earth is within these walls. It's encased within it.
I didn't say that. I just said if you wherever
I'm
the gas
asking,
pressure
I'm
is,
asking.
the gas pressure part is inside these walls. Yes, of course. You can't have gas pressure without container
It's a very
walls.
cryptic answer. You should
Yeah, very
maybe
cryptic.
answer.
Are we losing gas? Is gas escaping from the Earth somehow, escaping from beyond the wall, or is all the gas made in Earth that we breathe being contained by this?
Hey, real
No,
quick, we
by
have
this-
pressure at 50, 60 miles high. Is that how tall the walls are, Jeremy?
Maybe.
Yeah. Like, give us
We'll
some
have to go
dimensions.
investigate. Let me know when you guys are ready to go if there isn't a wall in Antarctica.
What about the top? What about the top, Jeremy?
Send me a DM when you guys are ready
So-
to go check shit out.
Jeremy, so your container is like a cup now, but what about the top? Is it covered or open?
Might be covered, might not be. Who knows?
How
I don't
come
make sky assumptions. That's your guys' game.
it cannot be covered?
I said I don't make sky assumptions about how the sky works. That's your guys' game.
No, forget about the sky. Talk
That's
about
what you're doing.
container.
That is the sky.
Anyway, Chemo's got the solution to this problem because earlier he was saying that pressure was not real. So there's no pressure.
Yeah, well, Jeremy says there's pressure, and well, I'm not going to argue, but you can't show there's atmospheric pressure caused by a force.
There's no pressure, according to Chemo. So yeah, simple solution to this. Yeah.
Well, if you can prove me wrong, I'm here, waiting, willing, ready, listening, and ready to accept. If you can demonstrate there is pressure and where this pressure comes from, well, then I'm wrong, you're right, we move forward.
There is pressure because you can just use a barometer.
I know, but where does the pressure come from? See? You fall into issues and problems.
Gravity.
You can't just say there is without a cause.
Gravity.
You can't say what, Chemo?
Well, you're making
What are you saying,
you're making a mistake in saying just because we don't know the origin of something that we can't measure something.
What are you measuring?
Pressure.
How do you know it's not temperature?
Because temperature is not pressure.
So how do you know, did you
follow-
eliminate the
it doesn't follow
temperature
the
and just get a pressure reading?
Use the thermometer to measure temperature, you cretin.
If you can control for temperature and just vary your altitude, and guess what? The pressure reading's different.
It's colder as you go higher.
Not if you control for it.
How can you control for going higher and controlling the temperature? How-
Pick two places. One at sea level. We'll pick two places. One at sea level. One at 10,000. One at approximately 10,000 feet.
The temperature. How are you going to
Charleston,
control
South
the
Carolina, and Lubbock, Texas.
Not even listening.
Lubbock, Texas will be warmer most of the year and still have a lower pressure.
If pressure is our cause and not temperature, we need to control the temperature and manipulate the pressure.
Yes, you can easily control the temperature, Chemo, by putting a thermometer inside a refrigerator.
Yeah, but again, how do you know? How do you know you're not? How do you know the difference between measuring pressure and temperature? How do you know when you're doing it?
Because you measure temperature with a thermometer and you measure pressure with a barometer. That's how you know what you're measuring.
So how do you know
So
these
you measure
devices?
Because you use a thermometer.
Yeah, a simple Google search.
How do you know these devices are picking up one or the other? How do you know your thermometer is not picking up pressure, not temperature? What was the determining factor to separate the two?
Well, it's not designed to pick up pressure. How would
What
it?
was the
be?
determining factor? That's what I'm asking.
How
What
would
was
it
the factor that separated? Well, this thermometer is picking up temperature and not pressure, and this barometer is only picking up pressure and not temperature.
It's not.
How do you confuse the two?
Yeah,
If there was no pressure, if there was,
It's like telling me how do you know a car is flying or driving on the road? It's not me.
The barometer is open to the environment and the thermometer is closed to the environment.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
They say
there's still temperature though,
Jeremy,
David.
robot.
Chemo. They say when you go up in the atmosphere that you can't measure the temperature. Am I good now?
Breaking up a little bit.
They say when you go up in the atmosphere, you can't measure the pressure. You can't measure the temperature because there's no pressure for the gas molecules to bounce off the thermometer.
Right.
They do not say that.
They don't. They don't. So we can just take a thermometer up high and measure.
Your body is the original. Your body is the original thermometer, correct?
Yeah, you can detect when it gets hotter or colder. That's right. You can also detect pressure when you go into water. We never detect pressure outside the atmosphere. Our bodies.
Because we're adapted to one atmospheric pressure, Chemo. That's why we don't notice it. Same reason why we can't smell air.
So if we went lower,
Also,
below,
something if anybody's about to bring up your ears popping in an airplane, Chemo says that's just because you're unhealthy.
yeah, how
Unhealthy.
unhealthy. Yeah. You know that
Chemo's never flown.
We know that
Chemists never fly on an aircraft.
we know people who jump out of aeroplanes not have their ears popping or anything like this. We know mountain climbers adapt, acclimatize, don't have their ears. Again, pilots know the tricks of the trade.
The biggest problem you guys have is 78% of the atmosphere is nitrogen. How is nitrogen going to contract and expand? You need to explain at what temperature does nitrogen.
Do you have gas pressure in your tires, David?
It doesn't. Nitrogen does not contract and expand.
Do you have
on Earth?
Do you
You're
have
so
high?
crazy. Why would you think a dead gas is going to expand and
Tell me,
contract?
yes, David. Do you have pressure in your tires?
I didn't ask about my tires.
I'm asking about your tires. Do they pressurize?
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like
What's in them? What's in them?
There's no pressure gradient
What's in them?
There's no pressure gradient.
First of all, there is, but I'm not talking about pressure gradient. I'm talking about pressurizing.
You just compress air out of the atmosphere, put it in your tire. What's your point?
Yeah. What gas do you compress?
Well, why do you think that nitrogen?
What gas do you compress, David?
Here's a perfect example. There is no proof. There is no proof that.
Echo. We have an echo.
There is no proof that the nitrogen is 78% of the atmosphere. That's how dumb y'all are.
So now it's not 73% of the atmosphere. I see.
Hell no, it's 98% water gas. It's what they're hiding from you. Don't you? Have you figured out that just common sense will tell you that oxygen and nitrogen isn't expanding and contracting in the atmosphere? Why would it? At what temperature does nitrogen expand and contract? We know that water expands and contracts at all temperatures.
I lost David. Oh, go on, Charlie.
Yeah, it's the level of dirt that's done this in.
No, seriously, chemo. They say when you go up, the gas molecules are so far in between that you can't get a temperature from it. That's why they say it's hot and cold in space. They'll tell you it's 2,500 degrees in the thermosphere. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Dave.
They're full of shit, man. Don't you hadn't figured out that it's all lies, everything, every bit of it. It's all Star Trek make believe, all Star Trek make believe shit. That's all it is.
I mean, the only way that they're going to see this is by having them, David, conduct an experiment. And obviously, they had a gravity experiment. A lot of these points would go in their favor. But they don't have that. We're just waiting for the current science. Obviously,
it's just like you remember chemo when we asked the question, "What is air?" Right? Remember when we went through that for a while?
Well, yeah.
It's just like that. It's just like them claiming that 98% of the air is nitrogen and oxygen, but and they'll even claim that. And you could go outside and see all the clouds in the sky. It'd be raining outside, and they'll tell you that it's 78% nitrogen. They're crazy.
All right, that's not circled. Looking for the challenge now. Does anyone have any evidence of a globe that we? Because obviously, like I say, Jeremy and David, they wouldn't say these unless they were proof. I mean, why would you believe in a ball if it's obviously not real?
They're dogmatic. They're dogmatic globers, is why.
Maybe the case, but again, I'm sure there's like over 50. One of them must have globe evidence. Jeremy, David, must have it.
You got to remember, these are the same guys that think the atmosphere has a gradient of gas pressure. Right. How can you can't even have if you pressurize something, there is no gradient in a pressurized container.
Well, where does that pressure even come from in the first place, right?
Exactly. Where did all the nitrogen come from? That's another question. 78% of the atmosphere is nitrogen, but there are no nitrogen wells. But the Earth is made up of 70% water, but there's only 1% water gas in there. How in the hell does that make any sense? You'd have to be a goddamn moron to think that the Earth's 70% water and only the atmosphere is only made up of 1% of the water gas. Think about it.
Well, again, if it doesn't fit with their model, I don't think it's things that they will consider.
Oh,
unless we make a spectacle.
It's because they're in a cult. They're in a cult, a ball-tarred cult.
For me, I mean, it's a possibility, but I like to think these guys are going through extreme trauma. It's painful inside. Have your insides ripped apart.
What's painful is the amount of denial that you have in your life, Chemo. Like you deny the pressure thing for one thing. That's interesting.
Yes.
Because you can go to Toronto, which currently is 55 degrees. You can go to Lubbock, Texas, which is currently.
I just gave you an example of a moronic thought. Okay, if the Earth is 70% water, the Earth's surface is covered with 70% water. Why would you think that the air is 78% nitrogen? Why?
Okay.
Where are the nitrogen? Where are the nitrogen? Where are the nitrogen wells at? Where's all this nitrogen being pumped into the atmosphere? Oh, it came here when the Earth was formed 29 billion years ago, and then there was these giant dinosaurs that couldn't even have sex that walked around.
All right, I guess I'm not going to be.
Where did the water come from?
We have an echo again. An echo.
Couldn't
What's wrong
even
with you
have
guys?
sex. That's a new one.
David, where did the water came from?
Where did the echo come from?
I don't know.
I don't know. Look at that.
Okay, so challenge. Let's get the challenge on. So what you saying there?
Yeah, my challenge for David. Where the
Yeah.
water came from?
Get it on, yeah. Water.
Yeah, where did the water come from?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that's like saying where'd the Earth come from?
No. You said where the nitrogen came from. I'm asking where did the water came from?
The thing is the water's here, and there is no formation of your nitrogen.
Same as the nitrogen. It's here.
Where did the nitrogen? Where is the nitrogen at?
It's here.
Where are the nitrogen wells at?
It's here.
Nitrogen is increasing because nitrogen is a waste product like an ammonium. That's why when you have a fish tank, it will accumulate nitrogen. It's a waste product. You need to get rid of it. It's accumulated by waste products of organisms.
Hear that, David? Comes from the waste. That David.
I do, but I got an echo probably.
Oh, you got echo. Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Ballers are terrible to your own ball. What did Mike do? What does he?
No, Kimmy, you're the worst one to people.
What's Moyak done to be?
Maybe he was hot micing. He had the mic on in his car.
Ah, okay. Oh, I think he was mocking.
Can you hear me clear?
David is a mockery.
But yeah, we can hear you.
All right. If the Earth is 70% water, we know that just even in your model, and water continuously changes states and evaporates and turns to solids, liquids, and gases. Why would you think that would make up a majority of the atmosphere?
Why on earth would
Think
you think
about
it
it.
would? Yes, we're
If you've
thinking
got
about it.
oceans all around the world evaporating 24 hours a day, what do you think the damn air's made out of?
Air.
I have experiment you can make. Does the water evaporate inside the bottle?
Closed bottle. Do the water evaporate?
Yes.
Yes. So why don't they get empty?
Reach the vapor pressure.
They don't accumulate pressure either.
Yeah, actually, if you put a vacuum over it, it'll reach up to the vapor
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah, but they'll reach a point where they don't accumulate it anymore. Why don't the water vapor?
Yeah, I said because you can saturate. I said because you can saturate the atmosphere in there.
Right. So there's a level that the atmosphere will not take more water. Doesn't matter what you did.
I have an experiment. Shove a vacuum cleaner hose down your throat and just turn it on and see if you can breathe. Or you can go under the water and try to breathe. Thank you.
Well, it depends. Do I put the vacuum cleaner into my stomach or into my lungs?
Just
Either
shove
way,
it down
it's
your
not very
throat.
good.
Just turn it on and shove it up and down.
You can shove it up her ass.
Shove it up and down, up and down. Thank you.
I still find it interesting that Chemo is saying the atmospheric pressure doesn't exist when you can go to Toronto, you can go to Lubbock. They have they have the same temperature currently, and yet you can measure their atmospheric pressure, and it's very different. And the only real difference is that Lubbock is about 3,000 feet higher in elevation.
Conversely, you can measure the same temperature at the top of a mountain at ground level in different places, and you'll get the same.
It's real simple. It's real simple. It's real simple. There's less water gas the higher you go up. Okay, very simple understanding. Okay.
So you agree that there's that. So you agree that there's a pressure gradient, then, David? Did David quit out, or did my mic cut?
He didn't answer.
Way to trap yourself in your own loop of stupid, David.
Don't worry about it. He's got it. He's thinking about how to bring Russia into the topic. Then it's all him.
See, that's the problem with lying and pulling about, David. Eventually, you get yourself caught up in your own poe.
But you're also assuming that he cares.
No, my phone's messing up over here. And anyway, it's just like you. You just believe that the atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. Why do you believe that? You believe it because you read it in a book.
What does it matter what it's made from?
You believe.
We measured it.
Because gas chromatography is a real thing, David.
There is no measurement of the atmosphere. Okay, there is no measurement.
Yeah, we've done them ourselves.
There's no measurement. David, don't be silly.
Take a cubic meter of air, compress it, cryogenically cool it, and I will get components out of it. 78% nitrogen, liquid nitrogen. I'll get oxygen in 21%.
Oxygen's the easiest one to check. You get a bell jar inverted in a tank of water. You burn you get a candle and burn that in the trapped air until it goes out. You then flush that air through some soda water, some lime solution water, which absorbs all the carbon dioxide. And you see how much gas is left because you've now removed all the oxygen. I remember doing that. You measure it. You actually determine yourself without the advantage, without the benefit of anybody else's potential lies, and determine what the oxygen content of the atmosphere is.
and then you take that remaining air, pass it through an anhydrous
And what
powder,
is water?
so that you take the water out of it, David.
What is water? What is water got in it? It's got oxygen in it, right?
Yep.
And how
Water has-
would it be? Why would there be a lot more hydrogen if this water splits up, right? And you got to remember, where's this nitrogen coming from?
Where's this split up happening? First off, are you?
Where is the nitrogen coming from? And you know what your guy's answer is? Well, it's always been here.
You've got to remember that Christmas is once a year, and then after that, when all the birds have gone south for the Easter, and after the covalent bonds are broken,
Broke Brain Mountain.
I just can't believe that, David, you're still at it. Does Debbie still come around?
Yeah, she came in here. Debbie dozed a couple of days ago. But before that, it was, I think.
So they haven't evolved their thinking at all, whatsoever.
Yeah, and I found the key, and I found the keys laying on the table to the flat Earth. Also, they're laying right on the table. I just was overlooking at it. All you've got to do is go get a Rand McNally road map and measure out the driving distance between any 10 cities in the United States, and it'll prove the Earth is flat.
Bullshit.
Because the map doesn't have drop in it.
Well, no. If you just take out, if I go from Dallas to Chicago, New York to San Diego, from Seattle to Florida, and we measure out how many feet it is between each one of those cities, there is no curvature of the Earth. How much more? If I put it, it's plain as day. Where you want proof, I'm telling you the proof. There is no curvature of the Earth. A Rand McNally road map and the number of miles between A and B in 10 different locations across the United States will prove no curvature of the Earth from sea level.
Do it better. Do it better. Take only 3 locations: Seattle, Dallas, and New York. A triangle. Take that triangle, and I guarantee you, I bet you $1,000 that triangle will have more than 180 degrees. There's your.
All right. How much you want to bet that there's no curvature of the Earth?
We'll bet one testicle.
I just said 1,000.
I heard $1,000.
Dave. Hey, Dave. How about you go and
Seattle, Dallas, and New York is going to be more than 180 degrees.
If I drive 1,000 miles, okay, you got to remember that's the chord length of the drive, right? Because I'm on the flat Earth. If I go from Chicago to Dallas, that's the chord length of the distance is on the ground, correct?
No.
In your model,
Dave. There's the distance on the map is not the chord length. That's the road. That is the road driving distance.
Exactly, which is the chord length. It's the chord length because there is no curvature. You can prove no.
Dave,
how are you
the road is not a straight line.
How are you going to prove curvature of the Earth? How are you going to prove
Dave,
curvature of the
road
Earth?
is not a. Dave, the road is not a straight line. There's curves in the road.
I don't give a damn. I don't care if it is or it isn't. I'll even give you the turnoffs and the deal. We'll just take the straightest path on the ground. You know how you go to Google and it says shortest
from
time
Dallas to where?
I don't care which do 10 different locations. If you put in shortest driving distance into Google, right? Shortest driving distance, and it'll tell you how many miles and the amount of time, right?
That's on the road. That's not a straight line.
I don't care. That benefits you, right?
It doesn't benefit anybody because the test is stupid.
It benefits you because I actually have to go farther than your round Earth would have to go, right?
And farther than your flat Earth would go.
Goddamn genius.
Oh my god!
On a flat Earth, you've got chord length and then you've got curved Earth length, correct?
Neither one of those is going to match road distance. Not even close.
The road distance will prove to you that the Earth is flat. Very simply.
David, I hate it when you're intentionally this dishonest. It's not fun when you pose this badly.
Why would you?
You know that the road.
When you drive to work.
If I'm in, if
know
I'm
that
in,
the road distance is not a
listen
court
to-
distance. Why do you keep saying it?
What does it matter? It's the straight line distance. It's the ground distance. There is no curvature of the Earth, or I would have to implement. It's just like you when you look at your ball, right? It's 25,000 miles around. You've got 8 inches per mile squared. You know exactly how far the Earth has curved in so many miles, in 1,000 miles. You know how far it should have curved in that amount of time, right? Do we agree to that?
It's not going to have it. The drop is not going to have anything to do with the surface distance in the way that you're trying to frame it.
What are you talking about? It has everything to do with the surface distance. The surface distance, just like when you go to the beach and you say the curve's on the other side of the horizon, that's where it starts curving away from you, right?
David, you are intentionally designing something that doesn't do shit.
What are you talking about? You know why you
Dallas to where?
David, that's not where it starts curving. Okay, that's the precipice of where you're standing. From where you're standing, that's the precipice that you're looking at.
It's actually the Sagittal, but still.
He said from Dallas to Miami. Is that what we were originally? Dave?
If I'm looking at a basketball and I look up at the top of the basketball, I don't say, well, that's where the ball starts curving.
Dave, you still there?
There's like a fundamental breakdown of understanding at every possible level, regards to everything he says.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
He's not. The thing is, he's not real, so that's the biggest problem.
Just what is he doing? I think it's just, what the fuck?
Flat Earth is the Earth that keeps on giving.
It is. I think I kind of understand chemo psychology, but I don't get David's psychology. Like, I can't chemo. If you're still here, I'm not, trying to talk behind your back. But like, I kind of get your psychology, right? You're like a shock jock, right? Like you people were not getting shocked by you saying the Earth is flat anymore. So you came up with like the dumbest possible thing you could think of, which is there's no pressure, just so you could get that shock value again, even from the flat Earth community. So I kind of get your psychology a little bit, but David, I just don't get it at all. It's just nonsensical to me.
Yeah, he's so far down the rabbit hole that.
All right, so you're telling me, like, right on the Earth, if the Earth is flat and I drive from A to B, and I know exactly how many feet it is because I know how many feet are in a mile, and on my car it has wheels that turn, so it tells me exactly how far I went down to the foot, right?
Yes, on the road, which curves.
On the road, exactly. So it tells me exactly how far I've gone. So now you need to tell me how these tires and wheels on my car that tells me exactly how far I'm going.
David, it doesn't tell you.
How does it prove curvature of the Earth?
David, it doesn't tell you how far you're going. It tells you how far you drove.
You tell me that when I get in my car and I go 250 miles
And
an hour.
if you drive in circles, what happens? How far did you go?
Dave, it's the distance. We're not talking about curvature.
If I'm in a car and I drive from Dallas to Houston, which is a straight road all the way from Dallas to Houston, there's no curves, right?
If it's a
I go
straight
straight.
road, okay.
I never
There's no turns.
have to turn. I never have to turn the steering wheel.
Oh,
I
you
just hold the
didn't
wheel
notice?
straight.
Are there any hills?
We don't care
Are you
about the
saying you're
hill.
supposed? Wait.
Tell you what,
Are
next
you
time
saying
you
that you're
drive,
supposed to-
lock your wheel. Don't move it. Let's see where you get.
Yeah, so David,
Are you
cursory
saying you're
information
supposed to
seems to show you.
experience?
Go ahead.
I was saying, are you saying you're supposed to experience curvature while you're driving down the road? Is that what you're saying, Dave?
No, what you tell me is that I live on a 25,000 mile ball, and every mile I do 8 inches per mile squared. So there is a drop factor in front of me. In any direction I go, I'm going down, basically going downhill. But because of gravity, I don't notice this going downhill. Right? That's your story.
No,
That
you don't. No, you don't.
That is
Why would you
completely
expect to
unrelated.
notice it?
Downhill at all.
No, I mean, if I go
wait, David,
the horizon,
David, this is completely unrelated to your original point, which was about distances.
Do boats go over the horizon? Do boats go over the horizon? Do boats go over the horizon?
Yes,
okay, so that means that boat is going downhill away from me.
No, it's not.
No. That's not what's going on.
If it's disappearing from the bottom up, then it's going downhill away from me.
No, there is no downhill.
If there is a hill, it goes downhill. Yes.
That's a bad argument, Dave. Dave, that's a bad argument.
Well, how's it a bad argument?
Can I help you real quick, Dave?
That's a third grade idea. That's a third grade idea of what the Earth's doing.
You open my eyes, Dave, to something that's real. Like, it just hit me when you said 8 inches per mile squared. Now, forget about driving because terrain we want to take out of it. Let's get out into open waters. We're in the Sea Nugget, leaving Louisiana, headed out to the Gulf of Mexico with Captain Dave. Now, in the first mile, we're not going to feel an 8-inch curve. You know what I mean? But see the second mile, that's a 32-inch drop. You're going to feel that maybe just a little. And then, by the time it just gets, it's by the power function. People call it exponential. It's power function. And eventually, once you get out like 50 miles at sea, you've gone 50 miles. That curve is tremendous. You should be able to feel it by then. No excuses. Is that what you're saying, Dave?
No, what I'm saying is that I can prove flat Earth 100% by just taking the driving distance of 10 different cities in the United States and then taking your curve calculator to those driving distances, and there will be no curvature of the Earth. That's what my claim is.
Explain, David. We asked you, what do you mean by there will be no curvature?
So Dave, let's help him walk me through this. Okay, so it's
curve water just explained to you.
13. Wait, Dave. I'm going to give you an example. Walk me through your thought process in the example. Okay, let's take Dallas to Miami. That's 1,310 road miles. What am I going to do with those road miles?
It's got to be as much in a straight line as possible. We're not talking about going around the curve of land. Everything will be in the straightest line that you can go. The shortest drive.
Yes, I have it set to shortest distance, and it's 1,310 miles. What am I going to do with this? Hello?
Well, he hasn't thought about that yet. No?
He has, because we asked him before.
Well, why don't you feel the extra curvature in the 50th mile compared to the first? Because by the time you get out 50 miles, it's really curving a lot compared to when you started. Why don't you feel that?
Yeah, he initially started like this is going to be comparing the road miles to the chord length and then trying to compare that to the arc length. But I don't see. But somehow he turned that into you should be going downhill the whole way, and that makes absolutely no fucking sense. The thoughts are so disconnected.
Right. Why wouldn't it be uphill the whole way? I mean, as far as he's concerned.
If there was a hill involved, wouldn't the water all drain?
Wouldn't it be uphill the whole way as far as he's concerned? anyway?
It depends
Because
on
you
which
never
part of
reach
the ball
the
you're calling
horizon,
it.
do you? You never reach the horizon, so you're always
it's
going
uphill the
uphill
whole way.
towards the
You're right.
horizon.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
horizon's
basically.
so it's uphill. Yeah.
We've had it
Well,
wrong
have
the whole
fun,
time.
David.
It's an 8-inch per mile lift.
Yeah, it's uphill, dudes. Sorry to bring it to us, but like this, now we're really confused as ballers. We don't know what to do. No.
Exactly. You hated that something simple as a driving map disproves your ball.
No, it doesn't.
Think about that.
Actually, Dave, I'm trying.
A simple random road map disproves your ball 100%.
Okay, Dave, wait, guys.
Even hear it.
I'm trying to get through something with Dave real fast. So, all right, before you cut out, we have a driving distance of 1,310 miles from Dallas to Miami, and that is the shortest distance path. What am I going to do with that number?
Okay, for one, why would I go around a curve to go down to Florida and not go in a straight line to prove my point? Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I go? I would go in the straightest path that I could go, so I would be able to outdo your 8 inches per mile squared. That would be the program, right? I'm going to prove that
Dave.
ground miles. I'm going to prove that ground miles versus your 25,000 mile round ball, 8 inches per mile squared. Bullshit is nothing but bullshit.
How we ask you, David? How?
Because all you do is it's just like if I go Chicago to Brownsville, right?
David, can you provide the reason? We have the distance. What we do with it? How we prove it's flat or round or whatever?
All you got to do is figure out the difference between the chord length and then your 25,000 miles.
Well, I have. I told you the chord distance, the difference before.
The ground is
you reset. You forgot what's been going on before.
Is the ocean when you're at the ocean, that's sea level, right? When you're at the ocean bank, right? That's sea level right there, right? Anywhere on any beach, right?
David, try to concentrate. What do we do with the data? What do we do with the data? What do you compare to what, and how we figure out if it's.
Go
ahead.
David,
the driving distance is 1,310 miles. The chord length using the globe math is 1,080 miles. Sorry, let me get that number back up real fast. The chord length is 1,108 miles. Do you know what the arc length is for that? I'll give you a hint. It's not very much. It's 1,112 miles. So somehow you have an additional 200 miles on your driving distance that you cannot account that you're saying should be very similar to the chord length, but it's not. And the chord and the arc length are not separated by a huge amount. What am I doing with this data to prove it using a Rand-McNally map?
Why do you think that going east and then going south is going to prove anything? You're going to want to go one direction. Either going to go north, south, east, or west in any direction in the straightest path that you could go that's on the map versus the roads, right? We have highways. We've got interstates.
All right, so David, give me 2 cities you want to use.
California. Okay, let's go from LA to we'll go LA driving distance, shortest driving distance from LA to North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, but you LA to Raleigh, North Carolina. Give me a second.
You have to drive on the roads, David. You can't go in a straight line. You have to use the roads. You're in a car.
That's how bad your ball is off. That's what you don't understand. Your ball is so bad off of being reality that I can take and not even go in a straight line and beat you.
Here, what's the